What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if female Naruto X 4th Hokage political marriage? If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. And also check the description to original creator of this beautiful creation. Elemental Nations. A land which has witnessed many disasters, mighty warriors, great battles, bloody wars and many other things. A land which has witnessed Kaguya Otsutsuki's rise in power after eating the forbidden fruit of the Shinju. Hagoromo Otsutsuki and Hamura Otsutsuki battle with their mother and Jubi. Battle between Indra Otsutsuki and Asura Otsutsuki. Rise of Senju and Uchiha clans. Clan Wars era. Rise of the Hidden Villages. Battle between Hashirama Senju and Madara Uchiha. Great Shinobi World Wars and many other things. This land has also produced many great warriors, but some of them stand above everyone else. These warriors who have become the SS rank shinobi since the foundation of the Hidden Villages. These shinobi, who have become legends are Hashirama Senju, the god of shinobi, founder and first Hokage of the village hidden in the leaves. He is known for his mastery over wood-style jutsu. Madara Uchiha, clan head of the Uchiha clan, co-founder of the Leaf Village and candidate to the title of the first Hokage as well as great friend and rival of Hashirama Senju. He is known for his mastery of the Sharingan, Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and also considered as boogeyman of the ninja world. Tobirama Senju, second Hokage of the village hidden in the leaves. Brother of Hashirama Senju, known for his mastery over water-style jutsu. He's also known for creating various jutsu such as Shadow Clone Jutsu, Flying Thunder God Jutsu, Bringer of Darkness Jutsu, Summoning, Impure World Resurrection and many others. Hiruzen Sarutobi, the god of shinobi and the third Hokage of the village hidden in the leaves. He is also called the Professor due to his knowledge and wisdom. He is known for his adamantium staff and mastery over various jutsus as well as collaboration jutsus. He is also known for teaching the three Sannin, consisting of Greatest Medic Nen, Slug Princess Tsunade Senju. One of the greatest Nukanen, Snake Sannin Orochimaru. And last but not the least, the self-proclaimed super pervert, Toad Sage, Jiraiya. The third Raikage of the village hidden in the clouds. He is also known as the only person who has managed to reach a draw with a Biju in a fight, without controlling, suppressing or sealing it. And lastly, Minato Namikaze, the Yellow Flash and the fourth Hokage of the village hidden in the leaves. He is known for his seal mastery and his two famous jutsus, Rasengan and Flying Thunder God Jutsu, which earned him his nickname, the Yellow Flash. Today is October 10th, the day which will leave a lasting impression on not only the Leaf Village, but the whole Elemental Nations. Because, today is the day when the child of prophecy is going to be born. Because, today is the day when the wife of Minato Namikaze is going to give birth to their children in a secret place, away from the Leaf Village. This woman's named Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze, who is also known as the Red Hot-Blooded Habanero. Now many will ask, why she is giving the birth to their children outside of the Leaf Village? The reason is simple. Because, she is also the Jinchuriki of the nine-tailed demon fox. Inside the cave, right now Kushina is lying on a table. She has just given birth to 3 children, 1 boy and 2 girls. Minato was trying to reseal the fox while Tsunade was stroking the youngest of the triplets. This child has beautiful red hair like her mother and blue eyes like her father. This child is Mito Uzumaki Namikaze. Jiraiya was making different funny faces to the only boy among the triplets, Menma Uzumaki Namikaze. He also has red hair but, unlike his sisters, his eyes were purple like his mother's. On the other side of the room was a nurse accompanied by Bawako Sarutobi, wife of the third Hokage. She was holding the eldest of the triplets, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. She has blonde hair and ocean blue eyes like her father. But one thing that all 3 of the children have in common was 3 whisker-like birthmarks on each of their cheeks. Hold it Kushina. We need to reseal the Kyuubi, Minato said. Clearly showing signs that he was trying his best to hold the Kyuubi at bay. But the children? Asked Kushina in a tired voice. Don't worry Kushina, we have them. You just concentrate on the Kyuubi, said Tsunade. Yeah, don't worry Kushina. We have them safe and protected, said Jiraiya with a grin on his face while still playing with Menma. Suddenly a voice unknown to all echoed through the room. Step away from the Jinchuriki 4th Hokage, the masked man said as he held Naruto hostage with a kunai at her neck. Bawako and the nurse lay dead on the floor. Naruto! Minato shouted. Bawako-sama, thought Minato, Kushina, Tsunade and Jiraiya sadly. Okay, just calm down. We can work this out, said Minato frightened. Concern evident in his eyes all the while having a single thought in mind. Who the hell is he? How the hell has he managed to infiltrate the barrier and what happened to all the ANBUs who were guarding it? Speak for yourself, 4th. I am perfectly calm. Do you care about your child? The masked man said. I do, Minato replied. Then choose now, 4th Hokage, the masked man said as he threw Naruto in the air preparing to stab with the kunai. Suddenly in a yellow flash, Minato grabbed Naruto as the masked man made his way towards Kushina. Jiraiya and Tsunade tried to intercept him. Jiraiya by making the Rasengan in his right hand while still holding the Menma in his left. The man walked straight through Jiraiya and his attack. Tsunade tried to punch him through the wall, but the masked man passed through her as well. What? Both Jiraiya and Tsunade shouted in shock. The masked man grabbed Kushina and disappeared, but not before going through a half-tiger hand sign when sizzling was heard straight from Naruto's towel. Minato realizes there were 5 explosive tags placed in the blanket around Naruto. In a burst of speed, Minato removes the blanket and teleports outside the cave. Jiraiya quickly gave Menma to Tsunade and went through hand seals for the summoning jutsu. Summoning jutsu. Toadmouth bind, shouted Jiraiya and summoned the stomach of the great fire-breathing toad from Mount Myoboku to protect himself, Tsunade and the children. After the explosion went off, Minato rushed inside the cave only to find Jiraiya canceling his jutsu while Tsunade held both Menma and Mito in her arms protectively. Are you guys okay? Asked Minato, slightly relieved that both of his children are fine, but internally he was concerned about Kushina. We are fine, but you need to go and save Kushina, said Jiraiya. Okay, but we need to inform the 3rd about what happened here. I will teleport both of you to the Namikaze mansion. Then, Jiraiya-sensei, you will go and inform the 3rd while Tsunade stays with the children and makes sure that nothing happens to them, said Minato. Okay, let's go, Tsunade replied. Then Minato teleported both of them to the Namikaze mansion and Jiraiya went to inform the 3rd Hokage immediately while Minato went to rescue Kushina. All the children started crying as if sensing the grave situation. Tsunade tried to calm them down while saying, "Don't worry. Nothing will happen to your mother. Your father already went to rescue her. I hope," she thought afterwards. Hiruzen Sarutobi was relaxing inside his home in an armchair when suddenly Jiraiya appeared panting. "Jiraiya, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be with Minato and Kushina?" asked Hiruzen. "I will explain everything now, sensei, but first," Jiraiya said. He then turned and looked at the Anbu and said, "Place the village on emergency orders. Evacuate the civilians." "Hi," the Anbu shouted. Hiruzen stood and looked at Jiraiya, who was looking at him with grim expression. "Prepare yourself, the Kyuubi is about to be unsealed if Minato fails." Meanwhile, with the masked man and Kushina after the abduction, Kushina was rooted in place, suspended in midair because of the Fuinjutsu that is almost completely unsealed now. She was suspended above a lake, the Fuinjutsu chained to the surrounding rocks, and in front of her stood the masked man. "How does it feel, Uzumaki Kushina?" he asked mockingly. She was trying her hardest to restrain the Kyuubi, but her hold was close to breaking completely. "What are you after?" asked sweating Kushina. "I came to rip the Kyuubi from your stomach and use it to crush the Leaf Village," replied the masked man. "What?" Kushina asked, disbelieved. "I see. So the 4th Hokage has incorporated his Hiraishin seal into the design of your seal. Also, he would always be there to protect you. But I already managed to get you away from him and the seal has been greatly weakened from the birth. Do you have any idea how long I have waited for this moment?" asked the masked man. "Now is the time then," the man said before making a hand sign. He channeled chakra through himself and his Sharingan and looked into Kushina's eyes. By doing that, he's managed to make contact with the Kyuubi and put it under his control. Inside the seal, Kyuubi's eyes has changed to replicate the Sharingan and it proceeded to rip the chains that bound it to the floating moon-like rock. Kushina soon covered into the red chakra clock which took the shape of the fox. Soon a tail made of Kyuubi's chakra started to come out from the tailbone. But it didn't stop there, as other tails soon started to form around the cloak. Soon all the 9 tails has came out from her tailbone. "Come forth, Kyuubi," said the masked man. Then the Kyuubi came out of seals and roared to the heavens. Grrrruuuuuh. "Let's head for the Leaf Village," said the masked man, but stopped when the very tired voice of Kushina, who was lying flat on her stomach over a big rock, said, "Stop. The Uzumaki clan is really something special. Even wrenching a tailed beast out of your body didn't kill you. It's only fitting for the Kyuubi to kill his former host," said the masked man. Then Kyuubi raised its claw to crush the Kushina under it, then brought it down for the final blow. Boom! The sound echoed through the entire area. But there was no redhead beneath Kyuubi's paw. She was in front of the Kyuubi, carried by Minato in bridal style. A small flash of hope. "But it's too late because I already have the Kyuubi," said the masked man. "Minato, how are the children? Are they all right?" asked Kushina in a concerned voice. "Yes, they are fine. I put them somewhere safe and Tsunade is also guarding them," assured Minato. "Minato, stop him. Ah. Stop the Kyuubi. Ah. They are headed for the Leaf Village," said Kushina while panting. After that, Minato flashed away with Kushina from that clearing, leaving masked man with Kyuubi. "Gone again. No matter. Onto the leaf," said masked man, and disappeared from the clearing with a swirl that has originated from his right eye. Minato appeared in the Namikaze mansion with Kushina. "Minato! Kushina!" shouted Tsunade after seeing them appear into the room. "Tsunade, heal her," said Minato while putting Kushina in bed with their children. "What happened?" asked a worried Tsunade after seeing the condition of her old student. "That masked man has managed to extract the Kyuubi from Kushina and is planning on using it to destroy the Leaf Village," said Minato. "What?" exclaimed Tsunade in a shocked voice. "Yes, and I've to go to stop that masked man and save the village," replied Minato. "Okay, Minato, you go. I'll take care of them. Don't worry. Just concentrate on that masked man and the Kyuubi," said Tsunade. "Minato, thank you and good luck," said Kushina while hugging the children who were lying beside her. Minato clenched his fists so hard that his knuckles were turning white. He glanced at his family. "I'll be back before you know it," said Minato while picking up his cloak. Then he disappeared from the room in flash. A few minutes earlier, on the streets of Konoha, Kakashi and Guy were walking through the streets. The masked kid with the silver hair and Anbu outfit everyone knew as Kakashi had been assigned with watching Kushina in the shadows for months, and this was a well-deserved day off. But not before being disturbed by the disturbing boy with the bowl-cut haircut and the green jumpsuit. "Kakashi, I insist we have a youthful challenge. Rock, paper, scissors, perhaps?" "No, not youthful enough. Perhaps a lap around Konoha." "Guy, doesn't something seem off to you?" Kakashi asked, sensing something awful. "You are trying to avoid the challenge. I must reclaim my place as top rival." Guy shouted. "I'm sorry, Guy, did you say something?" Kakashi asked too innocently. Curse you, Kakashi, and your cool and hip attitude," Guy yelled to the sky. Inside an alley, the masked man appeared in a swirl. Then suddenly he went through hand seals. "Summoning jutsu," he yelled while slamming his hand to the ground. Suddenly, in an explosion of smoke, Kyuubi appeared in all its glory and roared. Grrrruuuuh. Ground ripped apart and shinobi went flying in every direction because of the power that Kyuubi generated through its roar. Kyuubi then started to smash the buildings left and right while creating a great havoc. "It's the Kyuubi," somebody shouted from the crowd as Kyuubi has continued the leaf's destruction. With Minato appeared on top of the Hokage monument, on his own head to be more precise. Kyuubi has seen him and charged up his tailed beast ball and launched the attack towards the Hokage monument, only for Minato to raise his Hiraishin kunai to create a space-time barrier. The barrier has absorbed the attack and a massive explosion occurred a few miles outside of the Leaf Village. All of a sudden the masked man appeared behind Minato, but Minato, noticed him and brought his kunai to kill him. But the attack passed through him. After the attack passed, the masked man caught Minato's hand and tried to absorb him in his pocket dimension. But Minato was quick enough to react on time and flashed away. Talk about fast. He clearly is fast enough to avoid my attack. Next time I'll wrap him up as soon as I lay my hand on him, said the masked man. Then he too teleported to the fourth location. With Kyuubi, a massive toad appeared in front of the Kyuubi. This toad was Gamaken, one of the 3 great battle toads. Riding on top of him was Jiraiya along with the 3rd Hokage and many squads of ANBUs, who were trailing behind them. The 3rd Hokage was wearing his battle gear along with his summon, Monkey King Enma in his adamantium staff form. Same as Kanon. While Jiraiya was wearing his usual attire and had 1 small toad sitting on each of his shoulder. These were Shima and Fukasaku, great toad elders of Mount Myoboku. Jiraiya tried to use his Sage Art, Ultra Big Ball Rasengan, but Kyuubi stopped the attack with his tails and repelled it. Gamaken brought his Sasamata down to smash it on the Kyuubi's head. But Kyuubi flicked away the attack with its tail. Kyuubi then attacked Gamaken with his claw, but Gamaken brought his shield up just in time to block the attack. But even then the force of the attack was strong enough to push Gamaken back a few meters. Damn, he almost got me with that attack. If I was any clumsier then he would have made a hole in my stomach, said Gamaken. Jiraiya appeared on top of Gamaken and said, "Don't sell yourself too short, Gamaken. After all, the Kyuubi is not an ordinary foe. It is the strongest of all the Biju." He is right, Ken. Just focus on pushing Kyuubi out of the village, said Fukasaku. Ya Ken. Pa is right. Just focus for now, said Shima. Okay, I'll try my best. But forgive me because I'm clumsy, replied Gamaken. Meanwhile all the shinobi were firing jutsu after jutsu on the Kyuubi, but the Biju didn't even appear to be fazed by any of the attacks. Gamaken leapt towards the Kyuubi and tackled it. Enma, expand. The voice of Hiruzen echoed throughout the battlefield. His adamantium staff has expanded to epic proportions and managed to push back the Kyuubi out of the village. With Minato reappeared near the Hokage monument, not too far from the village. He was a little out of breath from the exertion he put himself through. When he caught his breath, he turned and was about to go to Konoha again when the masked man suddenly appeared before him. "You won't escape me this time, Fourth," said the man. My attack slipped right through him. Does he use the space-time technique, too? Whatever he did, it must be how he moved so far after taking Kushina. He defeated the Anbu squads handpicked by the 3rd Hokage and managed to infiltrate the barrier that we have created. On top of that he managed to separate us from Kushina, then took control of the 9 tails after releasing it from Kushina and marched straight into the leaf without so much as pausing to deal with the barrier. There is only one man that I can think of who can do all this, thought Minato. Are you Madara Uchiha? Asked Minato to the masked man. Oh, I don't know about that, replied the masked man. Why have you attached the leaf? Asked Minato. Konoha's destruction. This could be called an attack on whim, or it was planned. I could say it was for war, or for peace, replied the masked man. Minato stepped back, clearly shocked. He looked at the man before him who was now shrugging, as if warming up, then saw chains drop from that cloak of his. He looked ready to fight. Minato took a kunai from his pocket and prepared to engage him. This ends now, Minato said before throwing his kunai at the masked man. The man simply gave a huff of air and let the kunai phase through him, but not before seeing Minato charge in front of him with Rasengan in his hand. Minato was sure to land a hit, only for his attack to phase right through him as well. Too slow, Fourth, the man said before pulled on his chains and whirling around to face him, only to find he had disappeared again. He sighed and turned to face the Hokage still within the clearing. He has the Rasengan still in his right hand and Hiruishin kunai in his left. Minato charged towards the masked man. In midway Minato has thrown his kunai. Minato moved as fast as the kunai, staying behind it and planning his attack carefully. The man ran to meet him, and let the kunai phase through him. When it was done, he stretched his hand and said, I win. Hiruishin, level 2. Minato shouted and disappeared, appearing behind the man snatching his kunai between his fingers and slamming the Rasengan in his hands into the man. Damn it, he flew to the kunai from earlier, thought the masked man. Masked man jumped back but Minato appeared in front of him and stabbed him with the kunai he was holding in his left hand and pasted his right hand on the man's cheek while shouting, contract seal. Masked man jumped back again and said to Minato, you truly deserve the title of the 4th Hokage. You have managed to not only defeat me but pull the Kyuubi out of my control in one move. But someday it'll be mine again. The fox and this whole world will bow to my will. Many doors are still left open for me." With that said, he rapped away, leaving Minato alone in that clearing. Something tells me that he wasn't lying, thought Minato. With Kyuubi, hold it off until the fourth arrives, shouted one shinobi. The Kyuubi was trapped inside the swamps of the underworld, created by Jiraiya, and other shinobi were firing explosive notes and various jutsus on it. Onlookers failed to notice when the Kyuubi's eyes turned back to normal, a red color with black slits. Kyuubi then charged his tailed beast ball once again, but with a sudden shout of summoning jutsu. Food cart destroyer technique. One massive toad appeared on top of the Kyuubi and pinned it down. This toad was none other than Chief Toad Gamabunta. Riding on top of the toad was Minato Namikaze. "Hold the fox down for a minute, Bunta," said Minato. "Look, I may be big, but I'm not a miracle worker. Make it quick, will ya?" said Gamabunta. "I need enough chakra to take him and that attack out of here," said Minato. Suddenly Jiraiya and Hiruzen appeared beside him. "We are coming with you, Minato," they said at the same time. "Okay then, grab onto me," said Minato. They grabbed Minato and all three of them disappeared along with Kyuubi and the tailed beast ball. Minato, once again, appeared in the clearing. Only this time, he had Hiruzen, Jiraiya, Tsunade, Kushina and the triplets with him. "Kushina, are you okay?" asked Minato. "Yeah, I'm fine. Sensei healed me and performed a chakra transfusion," she replied. "Okay, then can you put up a barrier?" he asked. Kushina replied with a nod and used her chakra chains to create a barrier and bind the Kyuubi. "So what are we going to do with the Kyuubi?" asked Hiruzen. "I'm going to split the Kyuubi into 3 parts. Yin, Yang and his body and soul, and seal them into Mito, Menma and Naruto respectively," replied Minato. Silence filled the clearing. Everyone who was present there couldn't believe their ears. Minato was going to create Jinchuriki out of his own flesh and blood. But all of them were too shocked to put up any kind of argument. But Kushina came out of her shocked state soon enough and started to berate Minato for trying to create Jinchuriki out of her children. After a heated argument, Minato was finally able to convince Kushina by saying that their children will be treated as heroes and they will be there to raise them and protect them from all the hate that Jinchuriki usually receive. Finally, with the shout of 8 trigrams sealing style, the sealing of the Kyuubi was finally completed. The Leaf Village gained 3 new Jinchurikis in Mito, Menma and Naruto, who were holding the yin, yang, body and soul of the Kyuubi respectively. But only the future will tell what will happen to the children. Will they be loved by the village, or hated? What are the different effects this kind of sealing will bring upon them, and more importantly, what will happen to the child of prophecy? Next day morning, the news that the 4th Hokage has defeated the Kyuubi has spread like a wildfire. Everyone was talking about it. Village was filled with activities. While some were mourning for their loved ones, who have sacrificed their lives to protect the village. Some villagers and shinobi were helping with reconstruction of the village. The damage was quite severe. Kyuubi has caused too much havoc before Minato teleported him away from the village. Some medics were treating the injured, while others were helping with relocation of the people, who has lost their homes. Right now everybody was standing in front of the Hokage tower, waiting for the 4th Hokage, who was going to address the village. Inside the tower, "Are you sure about this, Minato? Do you really want to tell the villagers about your sons and daughters' status as new Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi? You do know that Jinchurikis are not very liked by the people." Kushina had a normal childhood only because her status as a Jinchuriki was a well-kept secret. "Don't forget that Kyuubi has almost destroyed the village and killed quite a lot of villagers," asked Hiruzen. "Yeah, I am sure, Hiruzen-sama. I have faith in my village and its people. I'm sure that they will understand and they will see my children as heroes," Minato replied. "If you say so, Minato. It is your choice, but I still don't think that this is a good idea," said Hiruzen. "Ah, you worried too much, Hiruzen-sama," said Minato. "I just hope that you won't come to regret this decision," said Hiruzen with a little hope evident in his voice. "And what about the masked man?" asked Hiruzen after a pause. "I don't think that it'll be wise to tell them about the masked man. Just think about it. If we tell them about the masked man, then people will start blaming the Uchiha clan. We are still not quite sure that whether he was a member of the Uchiha clan or a rogue ninja. If he was indeed a Rouge ninja and people have started to act rashly towards the Uchiha clan, then they might try to rationalize and that will lead to conflict between the village and Uchiha clan and we can't let that happen, especially with our current condition. So the less people will know about him, the better, replied Minato. Okay, so where are Kushina-chan and others? Asked Hiruzen. They are on their way over here. Kushina-chan said something about shopping for babies and all. Like some diapers, baby food, lotion and God know what, Minato said clearly confused. He just couldn't understand why babies need so many things. Ha 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 ha. You will understand soon, Minato. Raising a child is not an easy job. After all, I am talking here with experience. Taking care of one child was quite tiring and you got 3 bundles of joy, who just so happened to be Uzumaki. I will pray for you, Hiruzen said clearly amused. Minato paled, but before he could have said anything, door of the Hokage's office burst open and the sight made Minato even paler than before. On the door stood Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze. Her hair was waving behind her in an imitation of 9 tails and her body was covered with blue aura, giving her terrifying look. She was also carrying many shopping bags in both of her hands. Where the hell were you, Minato? You were supposed to help me with shopping but you left me alone inside the shop. Where the hell did you went, mister? Shouted Kushina. Well, why? You see, honey, some urgent work has came up, so I had to go, replied Minato nervously. And you didn't even bother to inform me? I was looking for an all over the shop. On top of that, you left me alone to carry all the bags on my own, asked a clearly irritated Kushina. I didn't left you alone. Jiraiya-sensei and Tsunade-sama were with you, didn't they? And shopping bags, really? Kushina-chan, you are a seal mistress yourself. You could have sealed all the stuff inside a storage scroll, replied Minato after regaining his confidence slightly. Kushina stood there frozen. Then she came back from her stupor state and stared, cursing in a way that would even make a sailor blush in embarrassment. Few minutes later, Tsunade and Jiraiya appeared behind Kushina. Tsunade was holding Mito and Menma while Jiraiya was carrying Naruto in his arms. Geez, Kushina, couldn't you have run a bit slower, said Tsunade. He. Sorry, I got carried away, replied Kushina while scratching the back of her head in embarrassment. Tsunade shook her head while others laughed lightly. Then they proceeded towards the balcony for the announcement. Balcony, outside. Minato appeared on the balcony along with Hiruzen, Jiraiya, Tsunade, Kushina and children. Minato started to address the crowd and everybody stared at him as he started speaking. Citizens of the Leaf Village. Yesterday we faced a great foe, the Kyuubi. It has destroyed our home and killed our comrades. But their sacrifice didn't go in vain. With Hiruzen-sama, Jiraiya-sensei, Tsunade-sama and my wife Kushina-chan help, I have managed to defeat the Kyuubi by sealing its yin chakra into Mito, yang chakra into Menma and its body and soul into Naruto. But you have nothing to fear. I have used an very advanced seal to seal away the beast so it can no longer cause any more trouble and destruction. All I want from you is to treat my children as heroes because without them, this victory would have been close to impossible. That will be all. Thank you for your time, explained Minato before he walked away with his family. Villagers were cheering for Mito and Menma for holding back the beast power while giving nasty glare towards Naruto, because in their eyes, she was the Kyuubi in human form, but none of them were brave enough to voice their thoughts in the fear of their 4th Hokage and his wife. Council chamber, few hours later. 6 figures could be seen inside the council chambers. These are the 3 elders Homura Mitokado, Kaharu Utatane, Danzo Shimura, 3rd Hokage Hiruzen Sarutobi, Anbu Commander Hawk and 4th Hokage, Minato Namikaze. Okay, care to tell us what exactly transpired last night, Hokage-sama? Asked Kaharu. Minato didn't want to tell them about the masked man because he was sure that they will take some drastic measures towards Uchiha clan, but he also knew that he has to tell them. So he reluctantly told them everything. Like how a masked man infiltrated the barrier, how he managed to separate them from Kushina, releasing the Kyuubi after putting it inside the Sharingan control, his fight with the masked man and finally the sealing of the Kyuubi. I think we should take immediate action towards Uchiha clan. To think that they were hiding someone as powerful as that masked man. Only God knows what else they might be hiding. They could be planning to overthrow the village's governing system and take control over the village, said Danzo. While he also wanted the new Jinchurikis so that he can mold them into perfect weapon, but he didn't voice his thought because he knew that Minato will never allow any children to be turned into a weapon, let alone his own flesh and blood. We are not going to do anything like that, Danzo-san. That masked man could be a rogue ninja, who has no connection to the clan. We cannot blame the whole clan because of one person's action, said Hiruzen. You cannot deny the possibility of their involvement in this attack, said Homura. Look Hiruzen, I know that we might be wrong, but we have to do something just in case. Trailed off Koharu. I have one solution that may appease everyone, said Danzo. Everybody looked at him in curiosity as he continued. We can put the Uchiha under the Anbu surveillance. That way they can report back to us in case of any suspicious activity. Koharu and Homura also agreed to this idea. What if they took it in a wrong way? Asked Minato. It has to be done. We cannot put the whole village security at risk just to appease one clan, said Danzo. Okay, Hawk, you know what to do, Minato said in frustration. Hawk nodded and left the chambers in Leaf Shunshin, and everybody else started the discussion about reconstruction of the Leaf Village. 4 years later, Namikaze Mansion. It has been 4 years since that fateful day. The village hidden in leaves has recovered its strength after the Kyuubi's attack. Inside the Namikaze Mansion, Kushina was preparing the breakfast and Minato was reading the newspaper while having a cup of coffee. Naruto, Mito, Menma. Come down for the breakfast, shouted Kushina from the kitchen. Soon they were able to hear set of fast approaching footsteps. Suddenly 3 blurs appeared in the kitchen. First, shouted Naruto. She was 3 feet 4 inches and wearing white t-shirt with Uzumaki swirl on the back and black shorts. She had tied her hair in twin ponytails. Second, shouted the second blur, who happened to be Menma. He was 3 feet 4 inches and wearing red shirt with blue jeans. Ah. Why always come at last? Asked Mito with a pout on her face. She was also 3 feet 3 inches and wearing the same clothing as Naruto but with yellow t-shirt. Ha ha ha. Don't worry Mito-chan. If you train hard enough then you will be able to come at the first place, said Kushina while smiling. Ya Mito-chan, we will train hard to become best of the best, shouted Menma. You think that I can become the best? Asked Mito dejectedly. Yes Mito-chan. Anyone can become best if they try their hardest, said Minato. Don't worry Toussaint, we will try our best to make you proud, said Naruto loudly. We are already proud of you my dear children, thought Minato and Kushina simultaneously. Okay, sit down for the breakfast, but first happy birthday, shouted Kushina excitedly while hugging all 3 of them tightly. Thank you Ka-chan, said all 3 of them. Happy birthday. This time it was Minato who has wished them. Thank you Toussaint, replied the children. They all sat for the breakfast. Breakfast was quite simple: toast, boiled eggs, milk, etc. Okay, I've some great news for all 3 of you, exclaimed Minato after the breakfast, while Kushina was doing the dishes. All 3 of them looked at him with excitement. Your Ka-chan and I have decided that from tomorrow onwards we will start your ninja training. We think it's time for all 3 of you to learn how to better protect yourself. But don't worry, we will take it slowly at first and then we will increase the pace according to your growth. Okay? Minato asked. All 3 of them had the stars in their eyes and they shouted together, "Hell yeah!" excitedly while pumping fist into the air, only for their celebration to come short when the sense of dread washed over them. They turned towards the source, only to find Kushina, who has malice aura around her. Did all of you just swear right now? Asked Kushina in a very dangerous voice. No KK Ka-chan, replied children frighteningly. That's what I thought, said Kushina and went back to do the dishes, and all 3 of the children released the sigh of relief while Minato flashed a small smile. Okay, Jiraiya-sensei has agreed to teach you the basics. So make sure that you get up early tomorrow for some training. That means you have go to bed early after the party, Minato said while giving the knowing smile. Ah. All 3 of them said, clearly disappointed because it means that they have to cut short their fun and celebrations tonight. Okay, go back to your rooms and get ready. We are taking you for some shopping, said Kushina after joining them back. All 3 of them were gone in an instant. Kushina turned to Minato and asked, don't you think that it's too early for their training? Kushina-chan, you know that they have to become strong quickly because I am quite sure that the masked man is only waiting of the right time or opportunity to strike back. So they need to learn how to protect themselves. Besides, did you forget what Jiraiya-sensei said? Replied Minato. Flashback. 1 week ago. It was night time. Minato and Kushina were watching the television. Children have already went to their beds. Minato and Kushina were also planning on going back to their own room to have some private time of their own, but stopped in their tracks by a sudden knock on the front door. Who can be at this time of the night? Asked Kushina. I'll check it, Minato said. Minato opened the door to find Jiraiya was standing there with a serious look on his face. Jiraiya-sensei, what happened? Asked Minato. Can I come inside, Minato? Asked Jiraiya. Oh, sorry. Please come in, said Minato. Who is it, honey? Asked Kushina from inside. It's Jiraiya-sensei, replied Minato while entering inside the room. Please have a seat, Jiraiya. Would you like to have some tea? Asked Kushina. No thank you, Kushina-chan. I'm in a bit hurry. I just want to talk about something, then I'm heading out to meet my contact. Something urgent has came up and I need to check it personally. Don't worry, I will be back before the kid's birthday party, replied Jiraiya. Okay, so what you want to talk about, sensei? Asked Minato. Toads has given me a prophecy. It said that one of my student who also happened to be the child of my old student, one who is carrying a great burden and bestowed a great power, will shape the world as she sees fits. She will become either the savior of the world or its destroyer, replied Jiraiya. It can be Mito-chan or Menma-kun, since they hold the Kyuubi's chakra, but we cannot disregard the possibility of Naruto being the child of prophecy. Explained Jiraiya. So one of my children will be the child of prophecy. Minato said, smiling. It could be. But Toads also said that full prophecy is still unclear. Will become clear in time. But till that time I think that we should start their training, stated Jiraiya. But, Minato started, but Jiraiya has cut him off by raising his hand. I know what you are thinking, Minato. But trust me, it is for the best. Or did you forgot what that masked man said, said Jiraiya. Minato frowned after hearing this. He didn't forgot the masked man parting words. How could he forgot, when his children's life are at the stakes, or perhaps the whole world's fate also? He knew Jiraiya was right. That masked man can attack at any time. Hell, he could be planning his next attack. Minato and Kushina agreed, although reluctantly, but agreed nonetheless. Okay, then it's settled. After their birthday I will teach them for around a month, then I will leave to track that masked man and my traitorous teammate. There is also a group that has came into picture recently. They are gaining quite the fame and reputation. This time, I might be gone for a long time. By training my godchildren, I can also spend some time with them before I have to leave, said Jiraiya. He couldn't help when a small smile graced his lips at the prospect of spending time with his godchildren. End flashback. After few minutes, Mito, Menma and Naruto came downstairs and everybody went outside for the shopping. Streets of Leaf Village. Currently, Namikaze family can be seen walking down the streets of the Leaf Village. Everybody was coming to greet the Hokage of the Leaf Village. They were bowing towards Minato as a sign of respect, but few of them were also glaring towards Naruto. Minato and Kushina noticed it but didn't react to it. Suddenly they noticed that Naruto wasn't with them. They panicked and looked around. Naruto was retightening her sandals. She got up after that and looked around only to notice that her parents were waiting for her. She ran back to Minato and Kushina. After catching up to them, she clutched Kushina's gown. Kushina looked at her in concern, but Naruto gave her a reassuring smile and they proceeded toward the clothing shop. After reaching the shop, Kushina told them to explore the shop in hope to find something for their liking. Minato and Kushina both noticed that Naruto was still there instead of exploring the shop with the look of concentration on her face. What's wrong, honey? Why are you still here? Do you some help in shopping? Asked Kushina. It's nothing, Ka-chan, said Naruto after releasing a sigh. You know you can tell us anything, right? Said Minato. Can I ask you something too, Ka-chan? Asked Naruto. Sure, Naruto-chan. What's in your mind? Replied Minato. Can you tell me why the villagers were looking at me like that? Asked Naruto. She noticed it, thought Minato and Kushina in shock. What do you mean, honey? They were looking normally. It might be your imagination, stated Kushina, clearly trying to hide the fact they were looking at her with hatred-filled eyes. Don't try to hide it, Ka-chan. I noticed that they were glaring at me. I first thought that they were looking at someone else, but today when I stopped to retighten my sandal, it became clear to me that the one they were glaring is none other than me. And the look of disappointment, which was clearly evident on your faces, erased whatever doubt I had. Did I do something wrong, Ka-chan? To-san? Asked a worried Naruto. Minato and Kushina were looking at her with stunned expression on their faces. How could Naruto-chan was able to notice all of these? She is only 4-year-old for crying out loud, thought Minato and Kushina. They are still not able to comprehend that a 4-year-old child was able to read the emotions so easily. You did nothing wrong, Naruto-chan, reassured Minato. Then why were they looking at me like that? Please don't lie to me, To-san. I want to know. Please, pleaded Naruto. Minato and Kushina looked at each other like they were silently communicating with each other. After few moments Minato said, "Okay Naruto-chan, we will tell you. But not now. How about tomorrow night? You promise?" asked Naruto. Minato nodded. Then Minato and Kushina took Naruto to help her with shopping. Nighttime, Namikaze Mansion. Namikaze Mansion was buzzing with the activities. The reason for this was simple. This mansion was hosting the birthday party of the triplets. Many clan heads, elders, third Hokage, last two loyal Sannin and many famous shinobi were also present. They had already cut the cake and adults were having the sake. Children got many presents like cloths, kunai, shuriken, books, toys etc. While Naruto didn't got as many presents as Mito and Menma, but she didn't complain. Jiraiya has given them his first book, The Tale of Utterly Gutsy Shinobi, and told them that Naruto's name was taken from this book and the biggest reason as to why he was named as their godfather. Tsunade has given them the blank journal to write their experience. But she also told them to write everything truthfully because writing wrong in the journal is like lying to yourself. Kakashi has given them a kunai pouch each, while Hiruzen has given them a book on history of the elemental nation which also contains the history of all the major ninja villages. Minato and Kushina has also brought them their ninja gear. Mito, Menma and Naruto has enjoyed the presents and celebrations. But nobody knew that after today, it will take many years for Naruto to feel truly happy. Next day morning. Okay kids, Jiraiya sensei will be here shortly. Be nice to him and follow everything that he says. Got it? Asked Minato while having breakfast. Hi, replied all three. Knock knock, they heard a knocking noise from the front door. It must be him. I'll go get it, said Kushina. Hello my dear children. Don't fear because the great gallant Jiraiya is here, said Jiraiya after entering the kitchen and Kushina trailing behind him while shaking her head in disappointment. Jiraiya Oji-san, exclaimed all three. Sit down for the breakfast Jiraiya before I change my mind, said an irritated Kushina. Why are you so mean to me? What I ever did to receive this kind of treatment? Asked Jiraiya while crying anime tears. Don't know, maybe because you tried to peep on us on our wedding night, shouted Kushina at the end of the statement. Minato was biting inside of his mouth to hold back his laughter. Jiraiya scratched the back of his head in embarrassment and said, I already said sorry so many times. What else do you want me to do? Besides, you beat the shit out of me after you found out. Wasn't it enough? I never gotten beat up that badly except the time when I peeped on Tsunade. Kushina was about to retort but Minto cut her off. Come on Kushina-chan. It's not like he was able to see anything because of the so many seals that we have applied. Besides, he wouldn't be Jiraiya if he didn't do those kind of things. He is not the self-proclaimed super pervert for nothing. Nobody noticed the confusion written on children's faces, but Mito decided to voice their thoughts. What you guys are talking about? All colors left from the faces of adults. Inside they were cursing for completely forgetting about the children. But Minato comes once again to save the day and most importantly to save himself from giving them talk about the birds and bees at the tender age of 4. How about you find out when you are older, replied Minato nervously. But why not now? Mito asked back innocently. Ah, because it's the adult stuff and you are too young to know about all this, said Minato, and a sense of relief washed over him when all of them nodded in understanding. Off you go then, said Minato. To-san, will you be joining us? Asked Naruto. Not now. Your Ka-chan and I will be training you after Jiraiya-sensei has finished with his training, replied Minato. Naruto nodded and they all left to their respective ways. Outside the house with Jiraiya. Okay kids, there are some things that you should understand first. As you know, all shinobi use chakra. So let me explain what the chakra really is. You see, chakra is essential to even the most basic ninja technique. It is the molding of the physical energy present in every cell of the body and the spiritual energy gained from the mind, Jiraiya explained. Once all three of them nodded in understanding, he continued. But most of the shinobi focus too much on chakra-related techniques and forgets to train their body and mind, which usually results in their fall. Said Jiraiya. How come it would result in their fall? The more technique you have, more powerful you will become? Asked a confused Menma. Jiraiya signed and said, I will explain everything, but hold your questions until the end. Okay? At their nodes he continued, as to why it is essential for a shinobi to train their mind and body. Think of this way. What ninjutsu will do when your opponent is fast enough to doge or you can't even see him because he is too fast? Take your father for example. In the battlefield he is so fast that his opponent didn't even have time to start his jutsu before he was upon them. Or think you are low on chakra and your opponent has plenty of chakra left. What you will do then? That's where taijutsu comes in. I believe that when a shinobi has nothing he can always rely upon taijutsu. Similar way strength is also important. Think of it as you are fast enough to hit your opponent but you didn't have the enough strength to do any damage. Tsunade is a great example of that. She has enough strength to level a mountain with a single punch. Basically she can finish a battle with a single punch. Are you with me yet? Jiraiya asked and they nodded. Good, so now comes the training your mind. If you can strategies you attack, then you can defeat an opponent who is more powerful than you. Take Nara clan for example. They don't have the powerful jutsus to back them up, but they can change a tide of a battle with a well-placed strategy. Another important thing about ninja techniques is chakra control. If you have more control on your chakra, then you can fire more techniques. And one thing that you should understand is there is a big difference between learning many jutsu and mastering them. What good it will do when you know many techniques but hasn't mastered them. For example, two shinobi have fired same jutsu, one has it mastered and other has just learned it. In this case, the one who has mastered his jutsu will be able to launch it more quickly and can easily overpower the other jutsu. So the final conclusion is you should train in taijutsu, kenjutsu, ninjutsu, genjutsu, chakra control, mastering a jutsu instead of simply learning it, etc. etc. Now any more questions? When they shook their heads, Jiraiya said, okay, then first we will start on conditioning your body. We will start with light workout at first. So give me 20 push-ups, sit-ups, crunches and 5 laps around the compound. What are you waiting for? Start now, Jiraiya said, and they started their workout. After some time, all three of them stood, slightly out of breath. Okay, we will work on kunai and shuriken throwing now, said Jiraiya as he started instructing them a proper way to throw a kunai and shuriken. After the kunai and shuriken practice, they went for lunch at Ichiraku. After coming back he started them on taijutsu. Jiraiya taught them basic stance, how to throw a punch or kick and how to block them. Then he taught them the hand seals and started to work on unlocking their chakra. After some practice, Mito and Menma was able to unlock their chakra. Their reserve was quite high compared to others of their age. Must be because of Kyuubi and being in Uzumaki, thought Jiraiya. But for some reasons Naruto was unable to unlock her chakra. Jiraiya has reassured her that in some cases it takes time to unlock one's chakra, and children went back inside Namikaze mansion while Jiraiya went towards the hot spring. After dinner, Mionto and Kushina asked them about their day. Mito and Menma told them what Jiraiya has taught them and how they were able to unlock their chakra. Throughout the whole conversation Naruto was looking toward the ground in disappointment because she has failed to unlock her chakra. Minato and Kushina noticed it, reassured her by telling that what Jiraiya said was indeed true. She looked slightly better after hearing that, but not too happy about it. So To-san, Ka-chan, are you going to tell me now? Asked Naruto. Mito and Menma looked at her in confusion and asked, tell her about what? Minto and Kushina cursed because they didn't want them to find out about the Kyuubi just yet, but understood that they had to tell them at some point of time. So they told them about how Kyuubi has attacked the village on the day of their birth and how they have to make them Jinchurikis of the Kyuubi to save the village. Apparently after seeing how some of the villagers were looking at Naruto with hate-filled glares, Minato has decided to pass a law that if anybody is found talking about the Kyuubi or told anyone, then they will be punished severally. That's why they haven't found out about it till date. So I am the Kyuubi? Asked Naruto in a dejected voice. No, you are not the Kyuubi. You are simply its container and you are also our precious daughter Naruto, replied Kushina immediately. Yes, Nei-chan, you are our sister too. Never forget that, said Mito and Menma. Then why the villagers look at me like that? Like I am the Kyuubi in human form, asked a Naruto with teary eyes. It's my fault. I placed my trust in villagers but they. Forgive me Naruto-chan, Minato said and hugged Naruto because she has started crying. Kushina told Mito and Menma to go to their rooms while she tried to console Minato and Naruto. After Naruto calmed down enough she asked, Ka-chan, Tu-san, why did the Kyuubi attacked in the first place? If what Tsunade Ba-chan said is correct, then he was last seen at the Valley of the End when Madara Uchiha controlled him. That means he never bothered anyone in the past 100 years. So why did he attack on that day? Asked Naruto. Kushina looked at Minato and after seeing his node she proceeded to tell her about how she was brought into the village to become to Kyuubi's Jinchuriki, when Mito Uzumaki Senju was at her deathbed, her pregnancy, masked man. She told her everything and apologized for not being strong enough to hold back the Kyuubi from unsealing. After that Naruto cried herself to sleep in her mother's arms as her parents hugged her. 1 month later, after the first day of training, Naruto tried her best to unlock her chakra many times but she only met with one failure after another. After 3 weeks of trying, Jiraiya took Naruto to Tsunade but even she wasn't able to find anything medically wrong with her. Anything that could have been stopping her from using chakra. So she concluded that Naruto might be able to use her chakra once she grows older. Right now we find Jiraiya packed ready to leave for a long period of time to catch up with his spy network. Hiruzen, Tsunade, Minato, Kushina and triplets were there to see him off. Okay kids, train hard. When I come back, I expect all 3 of you to become quite powerful. All 3 of them nodded but while Mito and Menma nodded enthusiastically, Naruto nodded solemnly. Her once usual confidence posture that she was famous for was absent. Jiraiya bent down to one knee and hugged Naruto while saying, "Don't worry Naruto-chan. I am quite sure that you will be able to unlock your chakra. In fact I am willing to bet half of my money that you will be able to do it. But even if you couldn't, then remember what I have told you, even if a shinobi is out of every option then he can always rely on taijutsu and kenjutsu. Always remember that, my favorite little god daughter," Jiraiya said. Hey, what about us? Asked Menma. Yeah, we're your god children too, continued Mito. Of course you are and I love you all but Naruto is my favorite. I can't help it, she is just so adorable, said Jiraiya. It had some different reactions from the present crowd. Mito and Menma was pouting, Naruto was blushing slightly in embarrassment and adults were chuckling at their antics. When will I see you again? Asked Naruto in slightly better mood. It will be quite some time. It can be anything around 5 to 10 years. You will be okay without me, right? Asked Jiraiya. Naruto nodded and said, so it's goodbye then. It's never goodbye brat, it's always see you later. Remember that, said Jiraiya while patting Naruto's head in affectionate manner. Jiraiya then proceeded to walk out from the gates of Leaf Village, while waving back towards the people who came to said their goodbyes. Few months later. It's been few months since Jiraiya left and since then things aren't looking good for our young blonde Jinchuriki. Somehow the words got out that Naruto was unable to use chakra and from there the things went downhill for her. Because for the villagers, it confirmed their beliefs that Naruto was indeed the Kyuubi in human form. One day when Namikaze family was coming back from their regular visits from Ichiraku Ramen, one drunk villager has thrown a bottle towards Naruto while shouting, "Die you demon bitch." It collided with her head and she fell to the ground. Naruto was hurt and bleeding profusely from the wound inflicted upon her because of the bottle that collided with her head. She was clutching her head because of the pain. Minato and Kushina came by her side instantly with Mito and Menma in tow. After seeing the state of her daughter, Kushina turns towards the villager who has thrown the bottle, while releasing the killing intent that froze the villager in his spot. She was about to dash towards the villager to kill him but Minato stopped her while saying, "Kushina. This is not the right time for any of this. You take Mito and Menma back to the compound while I will take Naruto to the hospital." Minato finished after picking Naruto in bridal carry. Kushina was about to retort but after receiving a firm look Minato, she nodded reluctantly. What he didn't know was that the leaving the villager unpunished will be the one of the biggest mistakes of his life. Since that incident, villagers got bold and started the assault on the blonde Jinchuriki openly. Earlier they used to be subtle because of the fear of their Hokage and his wife. But after that incident they knew that their beloved Hokage wouldn't hurt them no matter what. The assault started with visual glares, then it became verbal, and soon it became physical. They started with pushing her around, then started bullying her, which soon turned into the regular beatings. It continued to the point where Naruto has to run for her life while being chased by the mob of villagers. They used to beat the every inch out of her until a team of Anbu came for her rescue, which will result in villagers getting arrested before escorting the battered and bruised Naruto to her home or hospital, depending upon her condition. But there was something that confused Naruto. After being escorted to the hospital, her parents used to visit her, but the visits were becoming less and less frequent. It came to the point where they have stopped visiting her altogether. Even after arriving back home after being released from the hospital, instead of getting the usual warm welcome or concern-filled faces, all she got was guilt-filled eyes of her parents. As for the villagers, the civilian council has started throwing tantrum about the villagers getting arrested during the council session, which will result in the villagers getting released from the prison. While some might be scared about getting arrested and thrown into prison for a while, but for the villagers it was a small price to pay for getting back at the demon. Eventually even Naruto noticed the familiar faces in the mob from her previous beatdowns. She might be young, but she was no fool. She knew only the Hokage has the authority to release the prisoners. So she decided to ask her parents about that. That's where we find our favorite blonde walking towards her father's study, but she suddenly stopped in her tracks after hearing the voice of her parents. Minato-kun, I can't take it anymore. The villagers are getting bolder and bolder. They're even started forming the mobs to hurt our Naruto-chan. You told me that they will be seen as a hero for containing the Kyuubi, but look how are they treating Naruto-chan, Kushina said. I know Kushina-chan, but I don't know what to do to change the villagers' point of view, said Minato. But you can at least order the ANBUs to stop them before they hurt her. I don't see the point in letting the villagers hurt her, said Kushina. After hearing this, a shocked and wide-eyed Naruto thought, they are letting the villagers hurt me. But why? You are not seeing the whole picture, Kushina-chan. The Kyuubi killed a lot of people on that day. The villagers need an anger outlet. All I can do right now is to order the ANBUs to rescue her before they inflict any deadly blow or any permanent damage to her, said Minato sadly. But why Naruto-chan of all the people? Isn't she already suffered enough? I mean, look at her. She's smiling less and less every day, and most of the time she is looking sad. On top of that, she isn't able to unlock her chakra, which is shattering her confidence, and she is falling into depression, said a tear-eyed Kushina. Minato rose up from his seat and hugged Kushina. I understand, Kushina-chan, but if I stop them from hurting Naruto-chan, then they might target Mito-chan or Menma-kun, and that is something which we can't let it happen because of the prophecy. You saw yourself. Some of the villagers were also glaring towards Mito and Menma before Naruto's condition has been leaked into the public somehow. They are holding the Kyuubi's chakra, Kushina-chan, and if the villagers start targeting them, then they might start hating them back. Kyuubi's chakra is filled with nothing but malice and hatred, and their hatred will only fuel it. We have sealed the Kyuubi's chakra into them in hope that they will be able to control it in near future. If they fall into their hatred, then instead of controlling the Kyuubi's chakra, the chakra will control them and they will fulfill the dark part of the prophecy, which will result in the world's destruction, and I can't let that happen, said Minato. But what about Naruto-chan? Asked Kushina. She will pull through. I have faith in her. Right now, I may not be able to look at her without guilt, but I can't tell you how proud I am on her for taking all the crap from the villagers and still able to bounce back every time, said Minato. Kushina openly sobbed while they hugged each other. They both failed to notice Naruto, who was looking at them from the small gap between the doors with a sad and determined look on her face, with only one thought running inside her mind. Don't worry, Tusan, Ka-chan. I will not fall into the darkness. I won't let the villagers harm my brother and sister. I will take on all the hate of the villagers myself to protect my siblings. I won't let the despair catch me, because I will rise above the darkness, and one day you will be able to see me with pride in your eyes instead of guilt. I, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, promise you that, and I won't go back on my words because my ninja way. With that she went back to her room. Few months later, it was easier said than done. Because the villages was getting more violent by every passing day. It came to the point where they started using weapons, but like always Anbu stopped them from doing any permanent damage. The villagers quickly deduced that the Anbu won't allow them to kill the demon or inflicting any permanent damage on her. So they started to beat her more badly than usual. Like pulling out her nails, hanging her with thumb, breaking bones, etc. After a usual beating, when a boar-masked Anbu picked her up, she said something which shook him to his core. Seek and YYOUP place please S stop T them FFR from BR breaking A any bow bones. I at T takes T too mu much T time to heal, said Naruto clearly from too much pain if her shuddering is anything to go by. After saying her last words of the day, she passed out, unable to bear the pain any longer. The Anbu stood there, unable to process the situation. Did she knew that we were here from the beginning? He thought but decided that first he will ask her everything before reporting back to Hokage. He took her to the hospital to get her healed. The answer he received has blown the mind out of him. She knew everything. She knew about the Kyuubi, about Hokage-sama allowing the attacks and releasing the arrested villagers, every single damn thing. She also asked him not to tell Minato anything about her knowledge. When he asked her, why, she simply told him that she didn't wish to see the guilt-filled eyes of her parents. That's why she also asked him to stop the villagers before they broke any bones, because that will be noticeable for many days because of the plaster. She then asked him to take her to Tsunade inside the Senju compound, instead of Namikaze. Tsunade knew about the attacks and she was the one who usually heal her. Tsunade tried to talk to Minato and Kushina about the beatings, but before she could, she was always stopped by Naruto, who later took promise from her that she, Tsunade, will not tell them anything. After some arguing, Tsunade reluctantly agreed. 2 years later, her suffering continued as usual. But the result of those beating were quite severe for Naruto overall. Mito and Menma didn't know anything about the attacks. Whenever they asked Naruto about her injuries, she will tell them a lame excuse, which somehow convinced them every time. Minato and Kushina was drowning in their guilt, and it came to a point that they couldn't even look at her without flinching, and as a result they started ignoring Naruto more and more, which resulted in Naruto getting distant from her family. It also didn't help after Minto and Kushina took over their training. Because of the Kyuubi's chakra, they had to start training Mito and Menma in the chakra techniques, in which Naruto couldn't participate because of her condition. Naruto, who was unable to unlock her chakra, took Jiraiya's parting words to her heart and trained herself to the ground and taijutsu. On the road, she also picked up the kenjutsu and trained herself to the point where she can use a blade quite well. Even after all that, she still didn't lost her hope to unlock her chakra someday. She has started to read everything about ninjutsu, genjutsu and fuinjutsu from Senju Library, where she was spending more and more time than Namikaze compound anyway. When Tsunade asked her why she was reading all that since she still has to unlock her chakra, her answer has surprised the hell out of her. I don't know when I will be able to unlock my chakra. But when I do unlock it, I don't want to waste my time about reading all this, since I will have to make up to my lost time. So when I unlock my chakra, I only need to implement everything that I learned over the years. On the other hand, Mito and Menma were also getting influenced by the villagers. They have also started bullying her because of her inability to use chakra. She was taking all the crap from the villagers mainly because of them, and they have all the people started bullying her. It saddened her, but she took all of that and stood firm. Many times she reached the breaking point, but after remembering her promise to herself, she bounced back every single time. Right now 7-year-old Naruto was walking with Tsunade and her apprentice Shizune on the streets of Tanzaku-gai, a town located inside the Land of Fire, a tourist place as well as a gambling den. She was wearing an orange jumpsuit, same as Kanon. Over the years she has adopted a masked persona of an idiot and clown. Why, you ask? That's simple, because villagers will prefer an idiot demon over a smart demon any day. The only time she lets the mask slip was when she is with Tsunade, but even then it was a small slip. Nobody knew who she really is, except herself. It all started around a year and a half ago when Tsunade stated that she was maturing way too fast and asked her to preserve her childhood and innocence as much as she can. Of course, being a good goddaughter that she is, she agreed and masked personality came into the picture. It at least helped her to hide her pain from everyone she cares about, and the villagers won't get the satisfaction of seeing that their treatment is getting to her. I still don't know why we are stopping here. The place we were supposed to visit for your medical herbs is still some hours travel from here and it's only afternoon right now. If we leave right now then we will be able to reach that place by evening, said Naruto. Oh shut it Gaki. You should learn to enjoy every once in a while. Besides I heard that there is a poker tournament is being held in one of the casinos and I want to participate in that. It's been a while since I went to any casino, Tsunade said with a glee. You really are the world's greatest sucker Ba-chan, said Naruto with deadpan. Shizune started to giggle at their antics. Shut up brat, I still don't know how you were able to convince me to ask Minato to let you come along with us. Why you were even here in the first place? You don't even know anything about the herbs, asked Tsunade. Well seeing new sights is always good and getting away from the hate-filled glares and beating is always a plus, said Naruto with a straight face without showing any kind of emotion. Tsunade and Shizune gave Naruto a sad look. They both knew what Naruto has to go through every day inside her own village. Perhaps this was the reason why Minato allowed Naruto to go outside of the village with Tsunade. Naruto-chan, tell me why you are not allowing me to talk to Minato and Kushina about this. You know duh. Tsunade was cut off by Naruto. We have already talked about that Ba-chan. Besides don't forget that you promised me not to tell anyone about that, said Naruto. Tsunade signed but nodded. Fine but remember all the bets are coming off if they did something extreme. Got it? Said Tsunade and Naruto nodded. Okay then let's go. First let's get something to eat then we are going to hit casino. Exclaimed Tsunade. After the lunch they went inside a casino. There was still couple of hours left for the poker tournament to start so Tsunade decided to hit the slot machine and as usual she was losing badly. While Shizune was standing behind Tsunade, a bored Naruto was leaning against the slot machine next to the one Tsunade was using. Then she noticed one coin on the floor. She shrugged her shoulders and picked up the coin. She looked at the coin with interest then decided to try her luck by playing. She inserted the coin inside the machine and pulled at the lever. Tsunade was cursing her luck. She was losing badly, again. She heard a sound. She looked towards her right where a wide-eyed Naruto had just won the jackpot. Naruto-chan what did you do? Asked a shocked Tsunade. I found one coin on the floor and decided to try my luck, replied Naruto. After that Tsunade decided to test Naruto's luck and asked her to play on her machine. Obviously she won again. Then Tsunade decided to test Naruto's luck on different games and Naruto won every single game. Usually Shizune would have opposed to such kind of idea but right now even she want to know how lucky Naruto really is. Damn, she got the devil's luck, Tsunade thought then an idea came to her mind. Hey Naruto-chan, I have a deal for you, said Tsunade in glee. What kind of deal? Replied a nervous Naruto. You can keep all the money won up to this point. Then you will enter in poker tournament in my place. You can even use the money that I brought for the tournament. But we will split the money in half if you manage to win the tournament, said Tsunade. But Ba-chan, I don't know how to play the poker, said Naruto. Don't worry we still have some time left. I'll teach you how to play. So do we have a deal? Said Tsunade while extending her hand. You're on, said Naruto and shook Tsunade's hand. After the tournament a very excited Tsunade, happy Naruto and shocked Shizune left the casino. Apparently Naruto's devil luck continued to show in the poker tournament also and she 20 million won from it not counting the additional 8 million that she won from the different games and as promised, she gave half of the prize money which was 10 million to Tsunade. Next day they continued towards their destination which was Benisu Island. They reached there around mid-afternoon. Okay Naruto-chan you can go and look around for a bit but don't go too far, said Tsunade. Naruto nodded and left. After walking around a while she heard a scream. She turned towards the source and a woman came out of the bush and started running towards Naruto while shouting for the help. Then two men who were carrying the swords came out of the same bush and went after the woman. They soon caught up to her just a few feet away from Naruto and tackled her to the ground and started ripping her cloths apart. Naruto after seeing this shouted, "Hey you two! Leave that woman alone." Both of them stopped and looked towards Naruto. "Hey Renji, look a unripe fruit," said the first thug. "Coo coo coo coo. I'll love to squash this fruit. Go capture her and then we can start our fun," said now identified thug Renji with a glee. "Gladly," said the first thug and started walking towards Naruto. Naruto stood there with look of concentration on her face. She has faced the mobs out for her blood. These thugs were nothing and compared to them. As soon as the thug reached her, she broke into the action. She punched him in the gut. The thus was too slow to react to her speed. The thug bent forward because of the power behind the blow. Then Naruto kneeled him on the face, which broke his nose. The thug clutched his face and dropped the sword in the process. Naruto picked up the sword and stabbed it through the thug's heart, killing him instantly. After seeing his companion got killed by a 7-year-old child nonetheless, Renji left the woman and ran towards Naruto with his sword in hand and intended to kill Naruto. But Naruto was fast enough to react. She pulled the sword out of the first thug and ducked from the horizontal slash from the Renji and stabbed the sword inside the Renji's stomach. Renji clutched his stomach while coughing up the blood before hitting the ground. After the adrenaline left her, she looked at her hands, which were drenched in blood. She started hyperventilating and was about to hit the ground, but Tsunade caught her in time. Tsunade and Shizune were picking up the herbs when they heard a scream from the direction Naruto went and left immediately to check on her. They arrived just in time to see Naruto stabbing the sword inside the Renji's stomach. They have seen that Naruto have started to hyperventilating and about to hit the ground. So they dashed towards her and Tsunade caught her just in time. After seeing Tsunade and Shizune, Naruto calmed down a bit and said, "Ba-chan. I really am a monster like everybody said." Then she started sobbing. Tsunade hugged her and said, "You are not a monster, Naruto-chan." "But I killed them," said Naruto. "You kill them in self-defense as well as to save that woman's modesty. No monster would have done that. And the remorse you are feeling is clearly indication that you are not a monster," replied Tsunade. Tsunade understood the situation completely after observing the scene. After all, she has seen almost all the horrors of the elemental nation, and woman's condition was clear indication about what was going to happen to her had Naruto didn't intervened. That woman came towards Naruto and bowed to her while saying, "Thank you for saving my modesty, young one. I can't tell you how grateful I am to you, but I am also sorry that you had to kill someone at such a tender age because of me." "It's no problem," replied Naruto in a soft voice. She looked towards Tsunade and Shizune. They both were giving her a small smile. She nodded towards them like saying that she is fine now. Tsunade and Shizune took her with them, not wanting to leave her alone after the whole incident. Naruto sat under a tree, nearby to place where Tsunade and Shizune are picking up the herbs. She understood what she did and why she did and came to terms about it. But her mind was still in turmoil. She couldn't help but look towards her hands every once in a while. She wants to understand why there is so much bloodshed. She read about the past wars and knew that what she did just few minutes ago was nothing compared to what others have done during past wars. She just caught the glimpse of the real world and now she wanted to understand the ninja world and ninja system. She knew that she has to wait for some time because the answers she were looking for can only be found inside the village. After coming back to village, she went to the Senju compound to read the journals of Hashirama and Tobirama Senju, the first and second Hokage of the village, hidden in the leaves. She knew that questions she was looking for will be answered after she read their journal. After all, who is the better than the person who founded the said system? She read their journals day and night. After few days she found her answers and it changed her outlook towards the world somewhat. The ninja world is cruel, where stronger always ruled over the weak. Hashirama, Tobirama and Madara founded this village in hope that the wars will end with this system. A system where a child won't be forced to participate in a war. A system where every child will have a chance to enjoy his or her childhood. If that was so, then why her childhood was filled with nothing but nightmares? She understood that there will be always some exception, and it seems that she is one of those exception. It filled her heart with sadness, but she still retained her kind and caring personality. The journey that Hashirama and Tobirama went through is quite exciting and insightful. She was greatly inspired by Hashirama and his ideals, but also respected Tobirama's beliefs and determined herself to follow the same path which both of them walked on. Few months later, Naruto continued to train herself in the art of taijutsu and kenjutsu. The villagers were getting less and less harsh on her because of her masked personality. In front of everyone, she was loud, brash, troublemaker, and to the horror for all, the prankster queen from hell. Adapting to her masked persona, she continued to prank the living shit out of the villagers. It was also a way to let out her anger and frustration, and getting back at the villagers for all the beat down is always a plus. However, her relationship with her family was quite bad now. She started showing up less and less and started to spend most of her time inside the Senju compound. Minato and Kushina were spending quite some time to train Mito and Menma, completely disregarding Naruto. Unaware to Naruto's masked personality, they started to scold her because of her pranks, which was only increasing the paperwork on Minato's desk and forced him to stay inside his office for longer duration. The villagers have become less harsh on Naruto, but that doesn't mean that they have stopped forming mob every once in a while to hunt down the demon. During the said event, she also gained her first and only friend. She was getting chased by the villagers. She ducked, slid, jumped and did many acrobatics while running away from the villagers. Sure, she can outrun some civilians because of the harsh training she put herself through, but decided not to. Since this way her siblings will be more safe from the villagers' hatred. Though she let them beat her, but that doesn't mean she can't run them around the village for a while. This way, they will be more tired and that means less harm for her. Finally she decided to end the chase and turned towards a alley she knew was blocked. She stopped and waited for the beat down. Finally, "You have nowhere to run now, demon," said a random villager while taking deep breaths. "Idiots," thought Naruto with closed eyes and waited for the pain, but it never came. She opened her eyes in confusion only to see that a lone Anbu was standing between the mob and her. "Leave now or else," trailed off Anbu while leaking some killing intent. The villagers left after seeing the Anbu. Said Anbu then turned around to face Naruto. Naruto looked towards him. He was wearing a crow mask and a pair of Sharingan eyes were clearly visible from the eye holes. "Are you alright?" Crow asked. "Are you new?" asked Naruto in return. Now this confused the said Anbu, but he obliged nonetheless. Number. "I've been in Anbu for over a year now and I am actually an Anbu captain," replied the confused crow-masked Anbu. "Then why did you save me?" asked Naruto. This only confused Crow even more. Didn't she wanted to be saved? "I was actually passing by. I have just finished my mission and I was going to report back before I heard the commotion and decided to check it out," replied Crow. "Whatever. Just don't stop them next time before they even began, but remember to intervene if they decided to do any permanent damage or any kind of damage that will take too long to heal, otherwise you might get into trouble," said Naruto as she started walking towards the exit. "Wait," said Crow, clearly intrigued by her response. "What?" asked annoyed Naruto. "Can you answer some of the questions of mine?" asked Crow. "I don't trust you enough to answer your questions," said Naruto. "Fair enough. Then how about I tell you my identity and then you answer some of my questions?" said Crow. Naruto knew that an Anbu identity is one of the closely guarded secret in a ninja village. So if this Anbu is putting so much trust in her, then she can at least humor him. "Fine, but don't expect me to answer all of your questions," said Naruto. Crow nodded but asked her to come to a secluded place. They agreed to meet on top of the Hokage monument after half an hour. 2 hours later. After some time, trust grew between them and they ended up telling each other many things. Right now they were sitting on top of the first Hokage's head while munching a Poke each. "That's quite a tale you got there, Naruto-san. I can't help but respect you for all of your pain and sacrifices." "UALS," said Itachi Uchiha only to cut off by Naruto. Yeah, big deal. You are big fan of me now. What else do you want, an autograph?" "Huh, Poke boy?" asked Naruto in amusement while munching a Poke which Itachi has given her. Itachi's eyebrows were twitching at her comment. "You are the one to talk. Who are you to call me Poke boy when you are also eating it right now?" "Huh, shorty?" replied back Itachi. "Who the hell are you calling shorty, you freak of the nature?" shouted back Naruto. "Who are you calling freak, you pigtails?" shouted back a normally stoic Itachi Uchiha. "Don't call me pigtails, you red-eyed robot," shouted back Naruto. "That's my bloodline, you illiterate idiot," replied back Itachi. They continued to throw insults at each other for another few minutes before calming down. "I had lot of fun today, Itachi-san. See you later," said Naruto as they both went to their separate ways. This marked the start of a friendship between the one Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze and Itachi Uchiha. Few months later. It's been few months since Naruto has befriended Itachi. They used to meet in secret and told no one about their friendship. Soon their friendship developed to the point where they started to refer each other as siblings. Naruto has also joined the academy shortly after her 8th birthday along with her siblings. But even in academy everyone has started to bully her. Even her own siblings were among the bullies. Now that hurt her a lot, but she did what she usually do: ignore your problems, be satisfied with whatever you have and stop complaining. She did remarkable in taijutsu and endurance, but because of her disability, she was always marked as a dead last. On the other hand, the tension between village and Uchiha clan grew, and after all the negotiations failed, the elders decide to take the drastic measures. "Hey Itachi ni, are you alright? You looks little sad today," asked Naruto during one of their regular meet. "Naruto-chan, I am undertaking a mission and I won't be able to meet you for quite some time, if ever," Itachi said. Naruto looked little down after hearing the news but nodded. "I have to go now, Naruto-chan, but promise me that you will remember me as how I am right now." "Not as the villagers will refer me from now on," said Itachi. "What do you mean?" asked Naruto. "You will understand soon enough. But do me a favor. Don't hold all of your emotions inside. You need to let it out, otherwise they will consume you. You were telling me everything till now, but since I won't be there for you from now on, you will need another outlet," Itachi said. Naruto was about to retort, but Itachi cut her off. "I know that you can't tell anyone about how you truly feel, but who said that you have to tell anyone anything?" Itachi said, and after seeing the confused look on Naruto's face he continued. "There are many ways to express the emotions. You just have to look for it. Do it for me, okay?" Itachi said. Naruto nodded and they hugged each other. Then Itachi went his way back towards the village as Naruto stood there watching the back of the retreating Itachi Uchiha. A lone tear slipped from her eyes and she thought, "Goodbye Ni-san, and please take care of yourself." Next day morning the whole village woke up by the news that the Uchiha prodigy, Itachi Uchiha, has massacred his whole clan except his brother. When Naruto heard this news, she couldn't believe her ears. Is this what you were talking about, Ni-san? Don't worry, I'll remember you as you were," thought Naruto sadly. Few months later, Kakashi was walking on the streets of the Leaf Village. He has just retired from Anbu. Now he was going to take mission as an elite Junin of the Leaf Village. He stopped in his tracks when somebody called him. "Kakashi Ni-san, wait up," said Naruto. "What is it, Naruto-chan?" asked Kakashi. "Ah, Kakashi Ni-san, can you teach me something?" said Naruto. "I can't, Naruto-chan. I was actually going to leave the village for a mission. Why don't you ask your parents?" Kakashi said. "They are busy training Mito-chan and Menma-kun in a chakra control exercise," replied a dejected Naruto while looking towards the ground. Kakashi looked at her with pity. Being close to Hokage's family, he knew that they are not on the best terms. "Sorry Naruto-chan, but..." Kakashi was interrupted by a sudden shout. "My youthful rival, I challenged you for an armed duel," said a loud voice of Might Guy. "Huh, did you said something, Guy?" said Kakashi. "Curse your cool and hip attitude, my youthful rival," said Guy. "Sorry Guy, but I was just about to leave for a mission." "Perhaps some other time," said Kakashi. "Okay my youthful rival. I'll wait for you to come back from your mission," said Guy as he walked away. "Who was that?" asked a wide-eyed Naruto. "That would be Might Guy, the greatest taijutsu master of the Leaf Village." Hey Naruto-chan, I think he will be the perfect teacher for you. Like you, even he can't use his chakra, but don't let his appearance fool you. He can even give sensei a run for his money if he goes all out," said Naruto. "Really? He is as strong as Toussaint?" asked Naruto in awe. "Well, not strong as him, since very few can even hope to match him, but you got the point, right?" said Kakashi. After seeing the Naruto's note he continued, "Well, I have to go now. But please don't copy his speech pattern or his fashion sense. I don't think I'll be able to take another guy." "Ya nay," said Kakashi as he disappeared in a puff of smoke. What he didn't knew was that he will be seeing a mini Guy in near future. Naruto tracked down Guy and requested him to train her. After hearing her plight he said, "Well, I can't teach you right now since you are still an academy student. How about if you are still unable to use chakra by the time you graduate from the academy, then I will take you as my apprentice," said Guy. Nato nodded disappointedly, but she was also happy that someone was willing to train her. "Okay Guy-sensei. But Kakashi Ni said that if you go all out you can even take on Toussaint. How is that possible? I mean, you are also unable to use chakra like me?" asked Naruto. Guy laughed while replying, "That is because of a technique. 8 inner gates," said Guy. 8 inner gates? said a confused Naruto. The 8 gates are 8 specific chakra points on a person's chakra pathway system. They limit the overall flow of chakra within a person's body. By undergoing intense training, one can learn how to open these gates, allowing the user to surpass their own physical limits at the cost of extreme damage to their own body. The more gates you open, the more powerful you will become, but you will also inflict more damage to your body. It's also true that if you open them all, you temporarily gain a boost of strength that can surpass a Hokage, but then you will die, Gaia explained. Naruto stood there wide-eyed, then after regaining her composure, she said, "Okay, can you at least give me some pointers right now?" Gaia gave her some pointers like wearing weights, extreme workout, etc. But Naruto didn't stop there and researched more about the inner gates in the hope of gaining respect from her parents. Few months later, 12th anniversary of the Kyuubi's attack. Today was the triplets' 12th birthday. As usual, Mito and Menma received a lot of gifts and Naruto received very few. But what saddened her the most was that even her parents forgot to buy her the birthday gifts. Sure, she was in the hospital on her last birthday because of the beating she got, but at least they could have remembered that it was her birthday also. After the party, they were clearing the house and Minato said, "Okay children, pick up your gifts and go to bed. I have to leave early tomorrow." "Why to-san?" asked Mito. "I am going to the Land of Iron tomorrow. I am meeting with the Hokage and leader of the samurais," replied Minato. "Why you have to go there to meet them?" asked Menma. "Well, because it's a natural country," said Minato. "But why this meeting is so important?" asked Mito. Minato signed and said, "You know that we were having a few skirmishes with Kumo. Right?" Minato continued after seeing their nodes. "Well, I am trying to peace talk with Hokage, and it's important because if the talk failed, then the war between Leaf and Cloud Village will be unavoidable." After seeing their nodes, he said, "Okay, then go to your rooms." Naruto walked towards her gifts from the corner of the room where she was standing the whole time without saying a word. The children obeyed. They picked up their gifts and went to their respective rooms. Then Minato and Kushina took notice that Naruto wasn't carrying that many gifts, she only had the 3 to 4 gifts in her hand. Mito and Menma on the other hand asked for their help to pick up the gifts because of their numbers. Then it hit them. Not many people like Naruto, but what hurt them the most was that even they forgot to buy gifts for Naruto on her birthday. The realization hit them really hard and they thought, "We are sorry Naruto. How could we forgot to buy gifts for our own daughter? We have neglected you long enough. We will make up to you as soon as Minato returns back from the Land of Iron." What they didn't know was that they will never be able to make up to her. Not after the meeting at least. Because after that Naruto was going to be more distant from her family than they are right now. 1 week later. It was mid-afternoon and Naruto stood in a clearing inside the training ground 44, otherwise known as Forest of Death. Now you might be wondering that why a 12-year-old child is doing in a place like this instead of attending the academy as she should have been. That's simple, she is training. Flashback, earlier that day. Naruto was inside the academy training ground. Some student from the older classes have started to bully her in front of all the clan heirs. But none of them came for her rescue. It's not like she was expecting them anyway. First one was Shikamaru Nara, heir to the Nara clan, son of the clan head Shikaku Nara. A genius but too lazy. Second was Choji Akamichi, heir to the Akamichi clan, son of the clan head Choza Akamichi. Chubby but strong and too busy in eating his snacks. Third was Ino Yamanaka, heir to the Akamichi-chan, daughter of the clan head Inoichi Yamanaka. A fangirl of the one Sasuke Uchiha. Fourth was Shino Aburame, heir to the Aburame clan, son of the clan head Shibi Aburame. Silent guy. Fifth was Hinata Hyuga, heir to the Hyuga clan, daughter of the clan head Hiyashi Hyuga. Extremely shy and seems to have a crush on Menma. Sixth was Kiba Inuzuka, heir to the Inuzuka clan, son of the clan head Sume Inuzuka. A bit rough around the edges but extremely loyal. Seventh was Sasuke Uchiha, heir to the clan, a lone survivor of the Uchiha clan massacre, who happened to hate Naruto for some reason. And finally Mito and Menma Uzumaki Namikaze, her siblings. All of them stood there, seeing her get bullied by the older children, but none of them came for her rescue. It saddened her more that her own siblings refused to help her. Luckily for her, Iruka, an academy teacher, came just in time before things could have went downhill. Iruka punished the bullies and berated the other viewers for not stopping them. He told them to go inside the classroom. Iruka helped her up and about to take her to the hospital to fix her bruises and busted lips, but she told him that she was okay. Iruka knew that she was hiding her real skills because of her early performance at the inaugural ceremony, so he decided to ask her about it. "Naruto, why did you let those guys bully you?" asked Iruka. "What are you talking about, Iruka-sensei? They were too strong for me," replied Naruto. "Don't try to hide it, Naruto. I have seen your performance during the inaugural ceremony, and if your performance on that day was anything to go by, and if you haven't stopped training, which I am sure that you haven't, then you could have wiped the floor with them. But you let them hurt you. Why?" asked Iruka. Naruto was shocked at first but decided to tell him the truth. After all, he was one of the few who treated her equally since the beginning. "Sigh, I am sure that you already knew who I really am, and you already knew how the most of the villagers treat me?" asked Naruto, and after seeing Iruka's note in confirmation, she continued, "After seeing my performance during the inaugural ceremony, the villagers became more violent. They didn't want to let the demon get stronger. So I decided to hide my skills and adopted the mask of an idiot. It worked perfectly and the beatings became less frequent. As for not defending myself, if I started to fight back, then the villagers will become violent once again and my whole work will go down in vain." "Naruto. Iruka said, but stopped by Naruto. "Iruka-sensei, can I leave for the day? I don't feel like attending the academy anymore," said Naruto. "Okay, Naruto. But I want to back here tomorrow," said Iruka. "Okay, sensei," said Naruto. But what both of them didn't knew that she won't be coming back to the academy for many years. Flashback end. Currently, Naruto was trying to unlock her chakra once again. She usually liked to train in training ground 43 or 44 because nobody comes here usually well except a certain snake mistress. After unable to unlock her chakra in her early childhood, she tried to unlock it from time to time. Earlier it was once in every couple of days, but after facing one failure after another, she increased the gap in her attempts to the point where it is right now. Once in every week. Today was one of that day. And as usual, she formed a ram seal and tried to access her chakra. She tried and tried again but didn't succeeded. She was about to hit the mark of 30 minutes, where she usually stop. Suddenly she felt it. She felt a warm sensation inside her stomach. She tried to pull it out. Her eyes were closed with a look of extreme concentration on her face. Soon she was engulfed by a blue aura. She opened her eyes in surprise. Shock was clearly written on her face, but soon it changed to joy and happiness. She has finally unlocked her chakra. She started to jump around while yelling and crying the tears of joy. But unknown to her, a certain fox has also awaked from his 12 years of slumber. Inside the seal, Kyuubi has opened her eyes for the first time in 12 years. He looked around a bit to check his surroundings. He was in a sewer with ankle-deep water and locked inside a cage. Where am I? Oh yeah, I remember now. That masked man put me under Sharingan control, and that damn fourth Hokage and his wife locked me inside this brat, while sealing my chakra into their other brats. Wait, if they sealed my chakra into other brats, then why I have my full chakra? Only one way to find out. This seal might be strong, but since I have my chakra back to its original capacity, I can easily check this brat's mind and find out. Thought the Kyuubi and started to go through Naruto's memories. Outside, Naruto was starting to calm down while still crying the tears of joy. I had to tell Toussaint and Ka-chan about it. Finally, I will be able to earn respect in their eyes, and the villagers might stop thinking that I am the Kyuubi since I have unlocked my chakra. Maybe Toussaint and Ka-chan will also start teaching me along with Mito-chan and Menma-kun, thought Naruto hopefully, but stopped in her tracks when an idea hit her. Wait, Toussaint is out of the village and supposed to come back by today's evening. Why don't I try to learn the 3 basic academy jutsu and also the leaf balancing exercise that Iruka-sensei showed us earlier? If I show them that I was able to learn all of that in a single day, then they will be more proud of me, thought Naruto excitingly. So she started the practicing. She was able to learn the transformation jutsu to the acceptable level in 1 hour. Then she started with the replacement jutsu and managed to learn it in 1.5 hours. After that she started working on clone jutsu, but even after trying it for 3 hours, she was unable to form even a single working clone. Every time she tried, all she got was a dead-looking clone, which dispelled in seconds after forming. Damn it, why am I not able to perform the clone jutsu? I am trying to learn it from 3 fucking hours, but all I got was this dead-looking clone. Why can't I do it, damn it? She thought frustratingly. Suddenly a conversation between her parents and siblings came inside her mind. Flashback. To-san, can you help us with the clone jutsu? We are trying that for many days, but even after that we are not able to perform it correctly, asked a 7-year-old Menma during their dinner. I think I know why you are not able to perform this jutsu, said Kushina. Really, Ka-chan? Can you tell us? Asked Mito. Yeah, after all I faced the same issue when I was at your age. Well, the thing is that you have too much chakra and very little control, and on top of that you are an Uzumaki, who are known for their large chakra reserve and strong life force. The Kyuubi's chakra that is sealed inside of you both is also increasing your chakra reserve constantly. So you have to master many chakra control exercises before you are able to perform this jutsu, said Kushina. After seeing the children's down faces, Minato decided to give them some relief. Don't worry. I'll teach you another type of clone jutsu, which required too much chakra but very little control, said Minato. What is this jutsu, To-san? Asked Mito and Menma. Well, this jutsu is actually a kinjutsu developed by the second Hokage. It allows a person to create solid replicas of oneself. But I want you to be careful with this jutsu because when a person dispels his clone, he or she also get the knowledge and experience of the clone's lifespan. Which means that if you dispels too many clones at once, you will get a severe headache and it might also hurt your mind because of the information overload, said Minato. Kushina caught up to what Minato was implying and decided to add her concern. Minato-kun, do you think it's wise to teach them that jutsu? Asked Kushina. Yeah, they will be fine. Don't worry, replied Minato. Okay, what is this jutsu, To-san? Asked Mito and Menma in excitement in prospect of learning a cool ninjutsu. It's called Flashback End Shadow Clone Jutsu. Instantly 20 clone formed around Naruto and all of them started jumping in joy. Yeah, I learned the Shadow Clone Jutsu, all of them yelled in happiness. She only knew about this jutsu because it was created by second Hokage and she has read about it from the Senju library. Okay, all of you. Pick up a leaf and start the leaf balancing exercise, but one of you dispel in every 5 minutes. This way we will be able to learn this exercise before dinner time, said the original. All of the clones have picked up one leaf and stuck it to their forehead while original doing the same, but she was soon dragged inside her mind by a certain fox. Inside the seal, Naruto appeared inside her mind and looked around. She was doing the leaf balancing exercise and suddenly she found herself in an unknown place. Where am I? And what is this place? Asked Naruto. Follow my voice, said a deep voice with malice in it. Now she usually doesn't get scared, but there was something about the voice that just scared her. Who are you? Asked Naruto while trying to get her composure back. Then the same deep voice echoed again, follow my voice. She followed the voice although reluctantly. Soon she found herself inside some kind of chamber. In front of her was a massive gate with the kanji of seal on it. It looked like some kind of prison. She stopped good distance away from the gate as a precaution. Suddenly 2 massive eyes opened inside the cage. They were blood red with black slit in place of the pupil. Who are you? Said Naruto while trying to get her nerves under controls which were haywire right now. Trying to hide your fear, I see, said Kyuubi, then he blasted a wave his killing intent towards Naruto. Naruto's legs has started shaking. She have faced the villagers out for her blood. She have even faced some shinobi who were out for her blood, but their killing intent was pale in comparison to Kyuubi's. She tried her hardest to keep her footing, but it was getting harder and harder after each passing moment, but somehow she succeeded in the end. Kyuubi stopped his killing intent after seeing that it was no longer affecting Naruto. Though Kyuubi hasn't released his full killing intent, but it was impressive on Naruto's part nonetheless. At least you have managed to keep your footing. Your courage is commendable. I would have been disappointed if you have collapsed. As a reward I will answer to your questions that you seems to have. But don't expect me to answer all of them, said the Kyuubi. Who are you, and where am I? Asked Naruto after regaining her composure. I am the Kyuubi and you are inside your mindscape, replied the Kyuubi as he came to the view. He has orange fur, red eyes, bunny-like ears, massive claws and 9 waving tails. So you are the Kyuubi who attacked the village all those years ago. You could have said it sooner. You scared the hell out of me, said Naruto in relief and started to walk toward the cage but stopped just outside of it. Now this caught the Kyuubi completely off guard. Out of all the reaction he has expected, he hasn't expected this at all. He has expected her to shake in fear, blame him for all the pain, curse him for the hate and beatings she received from villagers, shout at him that how he should be locked forever, among the other things, but he hasn't expected the relief at all. "Ah, shouldn't you be angry at me or at least scared from me?" asked Kyuubi. The malice in his voice was long forgotten. It has been replaced by the curiosity. "Huh, why should I?" asked Naruto in a confused voice. Her response confused Kyuubi even further. "Maybe because of being a demon that attacked your village and made your life living hell, because people of your village thought that you are me," said Kyuubi. "How do you know about that?" asked Naruto. "Well, I just got up from my slumber when you summoned your chakra and I took notice that I have all of my chakra which should have been sealed inside your siblings. So I decided to investigate and went through your memories," replied the Kyuubi. Even he wasn't able to understand why the hell he, the Kyuubi, the strongest of all the Baiju, is answering this brat's question. Perhaps it was curiosity. "Yeah, that must be the case," thought Kyuubi. "Oh," Naruto said. "Wait, you said that you were asleep this whole time and just woke up when I accessed my chakra and you also have all of your chakra." Said Naruto. She half crossed her arms and put her right hand under her chin. She started wondering why Kyuubi has his whole chakra. Was her disability also like to this? After few minutes, she came up with an explanation. They used 8 trigram seal which also required the host's chakra to sustain it. But since you didn't have any chakra and because of the seal functionality, I think you were using my chakra to replenish yours unconsciously. Usually this shouldn't be possible, but since Ka-chan was your previous Inchiriki, I think that our chakra was able to resonate with each other's. That's why I was unable to use chakra because you were absorbing mine this whole time. That also means that it should have putted the pressure on my chakra coils which must have resulted in expanding my chakra coils. That explains why I have so much chakra. And when I have attempted to use my chakra it also woke you up because you might have finished replenishing yours. That makes sense, I guess," Naruto concluded. Kyuubi looked at her with wide eyes and his jaw literally hanging to the ground. He blinked and blinked again only to come out of his stupor state when Naruto called him. "Hey Kyuubi, are you alright? You kind of spaced out over there," said Naruto. Kyuubi came back to his senses. He had enough and finally asked after losing his composure, "How the hell you came up with such a complex explanation?" Kyuubi asked in disbelief. He was also trying to figure out the reason but couldn't think of any. And a 12-year-old brat outsmarted him, thousands of years old demon. He just couldn't wrap his mind around it. "Keep your voice down. Geez, are you trying to make me deaf? Besides, I'm standing here right in front of you. You don't have to shout." "As for the explanation, it was easy to figure it out once to put all the facts together," said Naruto. Kyuubi at this point can only note but asked a question that was bothering him for a while. "Isn't it one more reason that you should hate me?" asked Kyuubi. "Well, I know that you didn't attack the village willingly, and as for the chakra, you did it unconsciously. As for hating you because of how the villagers and my family treated me, if I did that then I'll be nothing but a hypocrite. They treated me like that because they thought I am you. They judged me for something that I am not, and if I did the same thing then I'll be no better than the villagers," replied back Naruto. This child, even after everything she went through, she retained her kind and caring personality. She didn't even blame me or any other for her misery. She lived a miserable life, and even then I am not able to sense any shred of hatred from her. Just who is this child? Is she the one that old man spoke about all those years ago? She do have the blue eyes. But it's too early to tell. I'll have to wait and see. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, you truly are an interesting one, Kyuubi thought. So you said that this is my mind. Then why is it looking like a sewer? Asked Naruto. Well, this represents how your life was until this point. I am sure you can figure out the rest, said the Kyuubi. Since you said this is my mind, then that means I can also change it. Right? Asked Naruto. The only response she got from the Kyuubi was a shrugged shoulders. Naruto closed her eyes again and concentrated. Kyuubi also watched with interest. After what felt like an eternity, Naruto opened her eyes again. The scenery has been changed completely. Instead of a sewer, they were standing on a large grass field. They were surrounded with the snow-covered mountains and the sun was going down behind the said mountains. There was also a large waterfall and a large lake. Different kind of animals were also running around. In short terms it was coming quite close to the paradise. A wide-eyed Kyubi was observing the scene. For him, the beauty of this place was beyond words. The seal has been replaced by the collar around his neck. He was able to feel the fresh air, large grass under his claw. He was able to hear the voice of the different animals. For someone who has lived almost a century inside a sever or chained to a floating rock, this was truly a paradise. He looked towards Naruto in gratitude. Naruto was on his knees and panting heavily. "Man, that took a lot out of me," said Naruto. "Kit, why did you do that?" asked Kyubi. "Well, I didn't want you to spend your time inside a cage with watery floor like an animal, who needed to be kept in leash. So I changed the scenery a bit. I also opened a channel so that you can see, hear, listen and sense outside world. I also opened a link so that we can communicate with each other telepathically and of course any of us can block the other one if needed. Sorry about the seal though. I wasn't able to think anything else," replied Naruto. Kyubi stood speechless over there. In all these years none of the human treated him as such, not even her previous containers. For the humans, he was nothing but a tool to be used in a war. A being of mass destruction who needed to be imprisoned. None of them considered his feelings. Madara used him to fight his rival Hashirama Senju. Hashirama subdued him with his wood-style jutsu. Mito locked him up inside herself and Kushina told him that how she will suppress him by love and he won't see the outside world ever again. But here he was, looking at the 12-year-old child, who stood against all odds, treated him as any other normal being, even if he was the main reason for all of her troubles and mistreatment. Kyubi couldn't help but feel some gratitude towards her container. "Thank you, Kit. In all these years none of the human treated me as such. As a thank you, I will assist you in your battles and lend you my chakra if you needed it," said Kyubi. Like partners?" asked Naruto hopefully. "Ah, yeah sure, like partners," said Kyubi. "No, let's be friends. You will be my first friend since Itachi ni-san." "So Kyubi, will you be my friend?" asked Naruto hopefully. "You want me to be your friend? Are you sure?" asked Kyubi. "Yeah, why not?" asked Naruto. "You amaze me again, Kit," thought Kyubi and said, "Okay. If that's what you want. Okay, great. I finally got a friend. My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. I like ramen, my family, my village and pulling pranks. I dislike when the villagers beat me up. My dream for the future is to earn the respect in my parents' and villagers' eyes," said Naruto. Kyubi stood there and waited. Then he realized that he needs to introduce himself. "Oh, my name is Kurama. My likes are my father and siblings, I guess. I hate Madara and Hashirama and my previous containers. Dreams for the future. To see my father's wish become a reality," said Kyubi. "Okay then, I'll see you later. I need to go home and show my parents that I have finally unlocked my chakra." "Talk to you later, Kurama," said Naruto as she vanished from her mindscape. Truly an instructing child, thought now newly identified Kurama as he went to explore the place. Outside the seal, Naruto came back from her mindscape and noticed that her clones has completed the leaf exercise. "Okay, all of you dispel in the group of 5 in every 2 minutes, said Naruto to avoid the headache. "Okay boss," clones said in unison and started dispelling themselves. After around 10 minutes, she was able to process all the information and thought, that wasn't too hard. I guess, I can increase the number of clones in the next training session. Now let's go back to home and break the news. I hope Tu-san and Ka-chan will be happy," thought Naruto. She was about to start her journey back home but a sudden voice of Kyubi stopped her in her tracks. "Why do you even consider about them? They let the villagers beat you. They even neglected you. So why do you consider about them so much?" asked Kyubi, who has just finished exploring the newly renovated mindscape. "Because no matter what they did, they are still my parents," said Naruto as she started walking towards her home. "Minato and Kushina, you don't deserve her. Hell, nobody in this village deserve her except a very few," thought Kyubi as he went back to take a nap. Naruto was walking towards Hyu home, unaware that she was about to get the most shocking news of her life. A news that will change her life forever. Namikaze Mansion. Naruto burst through the front door of the Namikaze Mansion and ran towards the kitchen. "Ka-chan, Tu-san, I have." She stopped in her tracks after noticing the other occupants of the room. Standing in the kitchen were Jiraiya and Tsunade, who were arguing with Minato and Kushina because of some reason. Menma and Mito was staring at their parents while sitting on their chairs. They stopped when they saw Naruto. "Jiraiya Oji-san!" Naruto shouted and ran towards Jiraiya and gave him a big hug. Jiraiya returned the hug. "How is my favorite goddaughter? Look at you, you have grown up so much. I remember the last time when I have seen you. You were such a shrimp back then," said Jiraiya with a forced smile after releasing Naruto from the hug. "I am fine and don't call me that. Anyway, when did you came back?" asked Naruto. "Just couple of hours ago." "So why are you out so late and why are you so dirty?" asked Jiraiya. Naruto was indeed dirty. She was wearing her orange baggy jumpsuit. It has many tears. Her hair was messy. She also has many scratch marks on her face and hands, thanks to performing replacement jutsu incorrectly. "I have been training on my own and lost the track of time." "Sorry," replied Naruto. "Really? So what did you learn?" asked Jiraiya. "That's what I want to show to all of you," said Naruto in excitement and turned towards Minato and Kushina. "Ka-chan, Tu-san, you will not believe what happened. You see, after I left the school early I went too," said Naruto, but stopped after noticing the solemn look on Minato and Kushina's faces. Then she noticed the sad look on Tsunade and Jiraiya's faces as well. She also noticed shocked look on her siblings' faces as well. "What happened? Why are you all looking like that?" she asked. "Naruto, we need to talk. You see, something big happened during the meeting in the Land of Iron and it's related to you," said Minato. Flashback. Land of Iron. They were all present around the round table inside a room. Apart from Minato and A, 4th Hokage, daimyo of Land of Fire and Land of Lightning were also present. Mifune, the leader of Samurai and Land of Iron, was acting as an intermediate person between the two said parties. Minato was accompanied by Kakashi Hatake and Shikaku Nara, and A was accompanied by Darui and C. "Please place your hats on the table," said Mifune. Minato and A put their hats in front of them. "You are here because of the Hokage Dono has called this meeting. My name is Mifune and I will be your moderator. The meeting will now begin. Hokage Dono, since you are the one who has called this meeting, I request you to please proceed," said Mifune. "Thank you, Mifune Dono. I have called this meeting to end the dispute between Leaf and Cloud. If these disputes continued, then there is no avoiding to the 4th Great Shinobi World War, which will result in countless deaths and bloodshed, which I am sure even you don't want, Hokage Dono," said Minato. Even I don't want a war, Hokage Dono. We all have lost many shinobi during the last war. To avoid those casualties only we have signed the peace treaty with Leaf Village 7 years ago, but even after that, these disputes continued," said A calmly. No Hyuga incident. "So why you have started these disputes, Hokage Dono?" asked Minato. "Oh boy, here we go," thought Darui and C after seeing the outrage look on Hokage's face. "What do you mean by that? It was your shinobi who has started it. They crossed our borders and infiltrated our country and you are accusing us," shouted A. "Oh man, so much for negotiations," thought Kakashi after seeing the A's outburst. "This is so troublesome. Minato, why you have to accuse the Hokage without any solid evidence?" thought Shikaku. "My shinobi didn't do such things. I have given them the specific instructions to not to cross the borders as per our peace treaty," said Minato. "Oh yeah, then what do you say about this?" exclaimed A as he pulled out a sealing scroll from inside his robes and passed it to Mifune to examine it. Mifune unsealed the scroll and some masks came out from the scroll. As you can see, Mifune Dono, these masks have leaf insignia carved into it. We have killed these shinobi when they were crossing the fire and lightning border. When we killed them, their body burst into flames. So we captured the few of them to take the evidence before killing them. But I don't know why that kanji of root is engraved into it, said A. These seems to be genuine evidence, Hokage Dono. What do you have to say about this? Asked Mifune. Danzo, thought Minato, Kakashi and Shikaku with clenched teeth. As much as Minato wants to kill Danzo, he knew that he has too much political power to simply execute him without any proper evidence, and that bastard always cover his tracks perfectly. Minato knew that he cannot say anything about Danzo or Root. If he did, then there was no chance of peace treaty and war will be imminent. He also knew that he can't take the blame, because in that case the result will be the same. So he took his chance. These are indeed the masks of the shinobi of the former root division of the Leaf Village, but the said organization has been disbanded years ago, said Minato. But even then it was your or your predecessor responsibility to make sure that these shinobi won't cause any problem before you disbanded the root division, said Mifune. Yes, it was. But we thought that after disbanding the root division, all of its shinobi were scattered, but it seems like that was not the case. We didn't know about them until today. But you don't have to worry about that. I will deploy my Anbu to look out for them, and I will also issue the kill on sight order after spotting any of the shinobi of this division, said Minato. Good save, thought Kakashi and Shikaku. They have managed to evade your shinobi and sensors for this long. You didn't even know about them until I have shown you the evidence. How can I be as sure of what you are saying is indeed true and this is not some kind of ploy to lay down our guard so that you can easily strike us later, said A. You have to trust me on this, Raikage Dono, said Minato. Huff, there is no trust in the shinobi world, Hokage Dono, and you know it, said A. Minato was about to say something but Mifune interrupted him. I think that you should at least give Hokage-dun one chance, Raikage Dono. Otherwise this whole point of meeting will be nothing, said Mifune. Fine, I will give you one chance to prove yourself, Hokage Dono, but don't think for a second that we will lay down our guard. Also make sure that none of your shinobi crosses our border without the exclusive permission, said A. Of course, Raikage Dono. If you want we can sign the peace treaty right now, said Minato. Treaty is nothing but a piece of paper. We signed one 7 years ago, but even then we are sitting here in a meeting so that we can avoid a possible war. Any treaty will not work until you kill all those root shinobi, said A. But it may take years to locate and kill all the root shinobi, and if we don't sign the treaty now then these disputes will continue and the whole point of this meeting will be nothing, said Minato. I know that, but I can't take a risk on my shinobi's life. As I said earlier, this can be your ploy to lay down our guard. I may have respect for you as my rival in speed, but I don't trust you enough to send my shinobi into a death trap, said A. Silence filled the room. All were thinking of a solution of this problem. Both parties were right. Until Minato kills all those root shinobi, the idea of peace treaty is far-fetched, and if they don't sign the peace treaty then the war is imminent. On the other hand, the Raikage also has a point. This can also be a ploy. After some thinking, Mifune suggested one idea. Well, since both of you don't want a war and without the peace treaty a war will most likely break out, I have one solution that will solidify the alliance, said Mifune. What is it? Asked the both daimyos and Kages. How about the marriage alliance, like how village hidden in the leaf has with village hidden by whirling tides before its fall? After first Hokage Hashirama Senju married to the ruling Izukage's daughter, Mito Uzumaki, said Mifune. That's not a bad idea, Mifune Dono, said the fire daimyo. Indeed, it will release the tension between the two countries. What do you say, Raikage Dono, Hokage Dono, said the lightning daimyo. After some thinking, both the Kages agreed to the idea and decided to form the alliance by the political marriage. Okay, but who will be the bride and groom? Asked Raikage. For this treaty to work under current circumstances, bride and groom has to be a Kage or directly related to the ruling Kage. So Raikage Dono, who else do you have in your family and who is also blood related to you? Asked Mifune. A frowned but explained nonetheless. Well, apart from me, I also have an adopted brother, said A. Well, in that case you will have to be the groom, said Mifune. What, can my brother be the groom instead of me? Asked Raikage. He could swear that he heard some snickering coming from his two bodyguards. No, it has to be you, said Mifune in a firm voice. Fine, said A in a frustrated voice. Looks like boss is finally getting married, thought Darui and C. Okay, then it's decided that Raikage Dono will be the groom. Now we have to decide the bride. So Hokage Dono, what about you? Asked Mifune. Well, apart from me and my wife, we have one son and 2 daughters, said Minato. Silence filled the room once again. Even Mifune was thinking about what to do in this situation, but suddenly Fire Daimyo spoke up. I don't see any problem in that. One of the Hokage Dono's daughter can marry to the Raikage Dono. What? Exclaimed Minato and A simultaneously. My daughters are only 12 years old and Raikage Dono is even older than me, said Minato perplexedly. Well, among us the daimyo's family, we do sometimes get married to a person much younger than the other, said the fire daimyo. That might be the case, but they are only 12 years old, Daimyo-sama, said Minato. Agreed. Even I don't want my people to call me a pedophile, said it in an annoyed tone. Even I think that we should reconsider it, said the lightning daimyo. Then tell me, do you have any other solution? Asked fire daimyo. They don't have the answer to this question, but even then Minato voiced his thoughts. We can think of something else, since I won't marry off any of my daughter to someone who is even older than me, said Minato. Think about it, Minato. If you don't do this, then a war will most likely break out, and if that happened, then countless lives will be lost and economy will also decline. And don't forget about Rock Village. They are also looking for one opportunity to get back on us because of the last war, and Leaf Village is still recovering from the Kyuubi's attack and Uchiha massacre. Even if we somehow able to win the war, our strength will be diminished even further, and other minor villages will attack us to replace us as one of the great 5 ninja villages, said the fire daimyo in a serious tone, if the lack of honorifics were anything to go by. Wait a second, even if he somehow agreed to this, I won't agree. Because if I have heard correctly, then all of his children are the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi, and no Kage in a right mind will hand over his village Jinchuriki to any other village, said it in a firm voice. That might be the case, but from what I heard, Hokage Dono's eldest child has only Kyuubi's body and soul sealed in her, and she is also unable to use chakra. I think that she will be the best candidate for the bride, and you also won't have to worry about any kind of ploy because of her condition, said the fire daimyo. I heard the same thing, but I also heard that she is attending the ninja academy. How come she is attending the academy if she not even able to utilize the chakra? Asked A. Yes, you are correct, Hokage Dono. She tried a lot, but even then she was not able to unlock her chakra for some reasons. We didn't find anything medically wrong with her. She is still thinking that she will be able to unlock her chakra. As for the academy, well, she wants to be a ninja. It's her dream. She said that she will become a splendid ninja even if she is unable to utilize her chakra, just like Maida Guy, the green beast of the Leaf Village, said Minato. See, so I think that all of us has agreed to this marriage, said the fire daimyo. Hey, I only told you all about her because you have asked about it. That doesn't mean that I agreed to this marriage, said Minato. Fire daimyo sighed and tried to convince Minato, and after some pondering both Minato and A agreed, although reluctantly. I'm sorry, Naruto-chan, thought Minato sadly as some tears almost slipped from his eyes, but he was able to hold them back. But what about her? Will she agree? Asked the lightning daimyo. Oh, don't worry about that. I'm sure that Hokage Dono can convince her, said the fire daimyo. And what about her dream? Her ninja career? We are already asking too much from her. We can at least give her a chance to achieve her dream. It is the least we can do for her, asked the lightning daimyo. I think we can leave that decision to Hokage Dono, said the fire daimyo. I don't have any problem with that. I will give her the fair chance to prove herself, but I do hope that my village won't be held responsible if something happened to her on a mission, said A. That's fine, said the fire daimyo. Okay, then it's decided. Marriage will be held in 1 month time, and as a natural party, we will be honored to host it here in the Land of Iron, said Mifune. But I have a quite tight schedule for upcoming months. I don't think that I will be able to attend the marriage, said the fire daimyo. Same here, said the lightning daimyo. Then you can schedule another meeting in Cloud Village after 6 months or something. That way you will also be able to check on the bride, said Mifune. They agreed and went to their separate paths. Kakashi and Shikaku placed a hand on Minato's shoulder, who was trying to hold back his tears. Let's go, sensei, said Kakashi in a low voice. Minato nodded and left the chambers. Congratulations, boss. You are finally getting married, said C in an amused tone. Shut up, C, said it in a frustrated tone and thought, I am getting married to a 12-year-old brat. Fuck my luck. Flashback end. Naruto couldn't believe what she was hearing. Her own father has sold her out to a different village just to save those villagers, who have tortured her on daily basis. Whatever respect she has for her father has been shattered. She has never cried when those villagers beat the shit out of her, but at this moment she couldn't hold back her tears. Why me? Why it always had to be me? Haven't villagers tortured me enough? Haven't I suffered enough? Shouted Naruto. She couldn't help herself to voice her thoughts. Everyone looked at her in shock. In all these years she never said anything like that. In fact, this was the first time they have seen her yelling back at her parents. I am sorry, Naruto-chan. I really am, but I couldn't do anything. You are the best possible choice," said Minato in a soft voice. Kushina tried to say something but a firm gaze from Minato stopped her. "I am being used as a sacrificial limb only because I am unable to unlock my chakra and I don't have any of the Kyuubi's chakra sealed inside me." "Is that it?" asked Naruto. "It is not like that. We are not using you as a sacrifice," said Minato, but Naruto cut him off. "Yes you are. First let me tell you something and after that you will definitely drop this idea," said Naruto. She was about to continue but Minato beat her to it. "Naruto, no matter what you say, this decision is final. You are getting married to the Hokage after 1 month," said Minato firmly. "But he is even older than you. At least hear me out please," said Naruto pleadingly. She was hoping that they will drop this idea if she explained that she has finally unlocked her chakra, but they were not even giving her a chance to explain herself. "That's enough Naruto. You have to accept this decision no matter what. Now take this file. It has the copy of all the terms and conditions of the marriage and as well as Hokage's profile. You can read it later," said Minato as he handed over one file to Naruto. Naruto looked down at the file in her hands. "Why me?" said Naruto in a voice just barely above the whisper, but the room occupants heard her. Then she looked up in Minato's eyes. At this point tears were streaming down to her cheeks. "Why it has to be me? I don't want to get married. Why don't you marry Mito to the Hokage instead of me?" Naruto almost shouted as she has lost all her rational thinking. Mito, who was listening to all the conversation, silently became shocked after hearing this but didn't said anything. Minato lost his cool at this point and said something that will haunt him forever, without thinking rationally, "Because you are useless unlike them. Now go to your room immediately." "Useless," Naruto repeated those words. Shock was clearly written on her face. Only one thought was running inside her mind, this is what they think of me. A useless tool which can be discarded after it fulfilled its usefulness. She ran towards her room while crying. If she has stood there for few more seconds then everybody would have witnessed the change in her eyes. Her once ocean blue eyes has been replaced by red color eyes with single tomo in each eyes. "Naruto," said Tsunade and Jiraiya as they tried to pursue her but Minato stopped them. "Leave her alone. She has to come to this term on her own," said Minato. "You have crossed the line this time Minato," growled Tsunade. "Minato, I will not allow my daughter to be married to the Hokage. Isn't she suffered enough? I agreed to everything that you said but not this time," said a tear-eyed Kushina. "There is no other way Kushina-chan. Fire Daimyo has practically ordered me to do this. There is nothing we can do now," said Minato. "But do you really have to be so harsh with her? You should have at least tried to convince her," said Jiraiya. "She is a ignorant child sensei. She wouldn't have understood it otherwise," said Minato. Tsunade scoffed and said, "The only one who is the ignorant one here is you, not her. But don't worry, she will agree to this marriage." "What do you mean?" asked Minato. "It is as I said. Do you really think that she don't know about that it is you who is allowing the villagers to beat her? She knew everything from the start. She is much stronger than you gave her the credit for. She could have easily escaped or fought back those mobs but she allowed the villagers to catch her and beat her," said Tsunade. "What?" said Mionto and Kushina. Jiraiya was shocked to hear this. Did Minato and Kushina really allow the villagers to beat their daughter? Thought Jiraiya. Menma and Mito were also shocked that their parents allowed such things since they were oblivious to her beatings. "Tsunade, are you sure about this?" asked Jiraiya. "Yes Jiraiya. She overheard them when they were talking about it," said Tsunade. "Then why didn't you inform them or did something about it?" asked Jiraiya. "Because she took promise from me. She asked me to not to tell them anything," said Tsunade. "But why?" asked the other adult occupants of the room. "To save her brother and sister from all the hate and pain, and not to drown her parents in guilt more than they already had," said Tsunade. "To-san, Ka-chan, is it true? Did you really allow the villagers to beat Ne-chan?" asked Mito and Menma. Minato and Kushina bowed their heads in shame and regret. If they have raised their faces then they could have seen the horror-stricken faces of their children and Jiraiya. "But why?" asked Menma. "After Kyuubi's attack, villagers needed an anger outlet and Naruto was the perfect person in their eyes. First we have tried to stop them but then they turned their hate towards you too. They tried to harm you many times. Our forces were already stretched thin at that moment. I couldn't assign a whole squad of Anbu for each of your protection. But we somehow managed it. But then the thing's starting to turn worse. The villagers started to create a scene to distract the Anbu so that they can finish the job, as they like to call it. After that I had no choice but to use Naruto as a scapegoat because most of the villagers hated her more than you two, replied Minato. Mito and Menma openly cried at this. I am disappointed in you, Minato. I think I have taught you better than that, said Jiraiya as Minto bowed his head in shame, unable to meet his teacher's gaze. Kushina, earlier this week you told me that you want to make it up to her. Right? Asked Tsunade. After seeing the Kushina's nod she continued. I think you just lost your last chance if her outburst was anything to go by. Your last comments have broken the camel's back. Come on Jiraiya, let's go. I need a drink, said Tsunade as Jiraiya and Tsunade left the Namikaze mansion. Mito and Menma also left for their rooms and cried themselves to sleep. Minato-kun, what should we do? Asked a sobbing Kushina. I don't know Kushina, I really don't know, said Minato. Kushina rose up from her seat and started walking towards Naruto's room. Where are you going? Asked Minato. I am going to check on Naruto-chan, replied Kushina. Wait, let me come with you, said Minato. When they reached Naruto's room, both of them froze. They looked at each other and understood what the other was thinking. They have never stepped inside Naruto's room in many years. They both nodded towards each other and mustered the courage and stepped inside her room. Her room was plain white. It has one bed, a bookshelf, a study table, a cupboard, but nothing else. In short, it is nothing like how a usually 12-year-old girl's room look alike. Minato and Kushina couldn't help but to drown themselves in the guilt even further. The level of their neglect finally drowned to them. They couldn't remember buying her a single dress or helping her to decorate her room, her hobbies, her likes, disliked, dream for the future. Nothing. Then they have seen Naruto, lying face first on the bed. They walked towards her and tried calling her, but she didn't reply. They thought that she cried herself to sleep and walked out of her room. Unaware that at this moment Naruto was having an interesting discussion with a certain fox. Will be explained later. What are we going to do now, Minato-kun? Asked Kushina. We will try to make it up to her. I hope that she will forgive us. We will try to give her the best time for the remaining period she has left inside this village. It is the least we could do, said Minato as they went towards their room, unaware that they will never get that chance. That's all for now. If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments.